Welcome back.
What's up, man? I'm happy I could talk.
This is episode 112 of the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast. We're brought to you by Black Belt Digital Marketing. Anything you need to build your business on or offline, website design, Google Ads, graphic design, printing, we can help. Check us out at Black Belt Digital Marketing on Instagram or our website, bbdigitalmarketing.com. Request a free review of your online presence today. My name is Milton Campus. I am a brown belt.
3 stripes.
3 stripes. Third degree. Training out of South Florida. We got Bo behind the camera.
Oh,
Look who decided to join us today. What's up? What happened?
Oh, I had a cracked tooth and it got infected, so I had to get like emergency surgery.
They pulled it out?
Yeah, and then they had to like carve out some jaw bone as well, and I got cadaver bone now in my jaw.
Hey, nice.
You were right about that.
Isn't dentistry great?
It is, yeah. Thank goodness for them.
Fucking brutal, archaic, like medieval.
Oh,
shit.
the power went out. The power went out while they were doing it.
Yeah.
And then he had to do it manual.
So
and
what do you mean? So like he's pulling the tooth out? Or
no,
cutting
so
it
they
out,
don't
or
pull.
scraping
Yeah,
it out?
so they use like the drill to break it more, and then they have like this big hand tool that's almost like a drill, but like a manual. It looks like cartoon. I'm drilling a tunnel like that, like a big drill bit, like a unibit.
Oh,
and he was like all his weight down, and one of the technicians was holding my jaw up because he was pressing so much down, and then since the power went out, the other technician, so there was 3 of them, and she had like cotton on a stick, and she was just like the blood, and then there was just like blood and bone just like spewing out, like he looked like a madman, like his gloves were like all bloodied up.
What was the third one? I'm picturing the third one hand like holding like a gas lamp. Like a kerosene lamp?
No. He had a headlamp on. The doctor did, yeah. So the doctor had it, and he was like, "Oh, no te preocupes. Everything's good, bro." You know, he didn't say bro, so like I was...
good, thank God.
Meanwhile, you can hear crickets and frogs in the background, the swamp, you know?
No, he's like, everything that we need to do from here on out is like mainly, I could do this without any power.
Happy to have you back.
Great.
So, hey, everybody, don't forget to like, comment, share, click that subscribe button on YouTube. Right. We'd really appreciate the support, so thank you. Joining us today is us.
Hey.
Right? We're doing a solo again.
I like it.
I wanted to do it, and with everything that's gone on in the last couple of weeks, I thought it was good. So we'll be talking about steroids. I want to talk about the B team. I want to talk about
the B cream.
Danaher.
Did you watch?
And what?
We'll talk about it. But did you watch the Lex Friedman podcast with the B team?
Yes.
Yeah. Super.
Yeah. Good shit.
Really interesting dynamics.
Yeah,
like,
we're going to talk about it.
Those guys, like, they don't even feel like they should be in the same room. The 3 of them.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of like the... Well, we'll talk about it. Let's talk about it. We're going to talk about it in a minute. So thank you to our friends over at Flow and Roll. Hands down the best custom gi and no-gi gear in the business. Don't believe us. Just visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll. Check out all the custom designs they've created for academies across the country. You can find our podcast here on their site under teams. You just find Jiu-Jitsu Dummies.
That's right.
You can order it from there. Go check them out again at Flow and Roll or flow_n_roll on IG, or visit the website flowandroll.com. You get 20% off with code JJD.
That's right.
Okay?
The OG.
He's like, yeah, that's right. Thank you to the BJJ box for all the support. They are Jiu-Jitsu's favorite monthly subscription box. It's delivered to your door filled with premium Jiu-Jitsu and grappling apparel, equipment, supplements, supplies, snacks, and more. They find the best products in the world, Jiu-Jitsu, and guarantee every box to be worth more than the cost. Each box includes 4 to 7 items, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually like a T-shirt. We've gotten power drinks.
Products.
We've had beef jerky.
Yep.
What's that?
The
spiky ball.
I still use that.
I use that one all the time.
Too.
So use coupon code JJD10 for $10 off your first order. More cool stuff coming. We should have had a box ready. Hopefully it'll be in the mail, and we'll be able to open it on the next one. I'm going to do my mysterious Milton thing. Remind me to tell you who reached out about sponsoring.
Wow.
Really cool. You're gonna like this one. You're gonna be like, no way, do I get one? We'll see. I'm working things out.
Mercedes?
No.
Oh.
I was going to say Lamborghini.
Let's just say ice bath related. We're just gonna leave it there.
Oh, nice.
Just leave it there.
Wim Hof.
Thank you to Neutral Zone Clean. Before we even say anything, check them out at neutralzoneclean.com and Neutral Zone Clean on Instagram or at Neutral Zone Clean.
That's right.
We've got a box. We're gonna kind of do an unboxing today, right? So you've got we loaded up some of the new stuff there, right?
The refill for the spray. These are the spearmint. There's the soap.
This is the new stuff.
Yeah,
so
the new
they've got
soap.
Soaps and bars.
That's right.
So NutriZone Clean, what is it?
Shower
right? It's all about being clean on and off the mats, training, your personal life, get rid of the yuckies, right?
For this is the best.
What are we worried about as jiu-jitsu practitioners? We're about staff.
Yeah.
We're about ringworm,
Open
right?
cuts.
I spray myself down.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to take that one home with me because we got another one, the refill.
Yeah.
But I spray myself. I put it on a towel or I wipe my face down. I put it all over my body. I've even started to spray my belt between belt washings.
Oh, you're on the fence now.
So
Yeah.
what are you going to ask?
So I spray the belt sometimes.
Do you spray your belt?
Maybe we'll do that. So let's check out.
I spray the whole thing. Yeah.
I know some of the stuff is there, but this is their new stuff, right? We've got
the shower
the
gel.
Spearmint.
Yep.
Shower
so there's
gel.
a shower gel. Yep.
So we got a couple. These are we're going to be able to test those out.
Shower gel. Yeah.
So we can take
together.
No.
Oh.
We've got the refill.
Nice.
Like the one there, right? So
Bam.
you can actually use that for the spray.
Yep.
Or right.
Can you mop mats with this? Did you ever ask
They're
that?
coming out. He's posted it. He's coming out with the spray for the mat cleaner.
I think that's crucial.
But you can actually use that to wet.
Yeah.
To put a little bit
wipes.
extra on the wipes.
Yep.
Or use it for the spray bottle.
You know what? I just ran out of wipes. I've been visiting a lot of cow farms lately.
That's yours then?
Oh, cool beans. It stays in the truck. Mike,
I always keep one. I'm going to keep that on the door. This one, I'll keep that over here
what's
for
up?
now.
What's up?
And we've got some.
NutriZone.
We'll leave some of them here, and then
the spearmint.
We've got, some.
Yep.
Their new
soaps.
Their new body soaps, and we'll be able to test these out. I think he's got some other ones coming as well. He's creating a whole bunch. What else do I got here? Ooh,
soap.
Oh, and I asked for.
¿Qué es eso?
I needed a little something. Ran out of CBD a while.
Oh, nice.
A little CBD.
That's right. 25% off with code
Thank
JJD.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to share these with you.
Yeah, no, that's for you, buddy. Those are the tinctures, right?
Those are the tinctures.
Yeah, that's right. My wife loves using that word.
She likes to say tincture.
Yeah, you know what else she likes?
Right? So we also, we're sponsored by NutriZone Clean and NutriZone CBD.
Yeah, but this is no CBD, nothing. This is just for hygiene products.
Yeah. This stuff doesn't have any CBD in it.
I learned a new word.
I asked for a roll-on.
Oh, what is it? Oh,
I
dude.
told them what I was running out of.
Yeah.
So we got a roll-on.
That one's, dude, that by my desk is
Thank
the best.
you, Mike. This is awesome.
Mike and Candy.
And then we got
yeah, it's good. We need one for the table.
Yeah, we'll keep one for the table.
Yeah.
I'll put this
it's
over
a
here.
Mike and Candy show.
So very cool.
I love it. The people, I haven't talked to the people in my gym for like 2 weeks, but they love it.
Yeah, I mean,
I keep this at the gym. No, I keep these two in the cubby at the gym in the male locker room.
Are you running out of this yet?
I might need another one. Yeah.
You can't have mine.
Yeah.
So thank you to NutriZone Clean, Mike and Candy. We love you guys. Thank you so much for the support.
Mike and Candy.
You can check them out at NutriZoneClean.com. Website built by Black Belt Digital Marketing, by the way.
I like
Belt
everything.
Coupon code JJD for 15% off.
That's right.
All right?
Yeah.
That is right? Oh, 25% on the CBD stuff.
That's right.
Damn.
Okay. All right. Is that everything?
I think that's everything.
All right. So
until Mysterious Milton tells us who's in.
Well, we're the guests today.
Yep.
I just feel like I have a lot to say about what's going on.
It's a lot.
I talked about steroids on the Yoshi Kurt episode.
We also talked about it before that too. Yeah, it's been 3 episodes now.
I know that. Like, I even put out a video that was. I said steroids and TRT in the same breath, and I knew some people were going to be like, "That's not the."
Yeah.
Not the same,
I said it in the comment. I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My overarching point was me. I am, unless I have to.
Yeah.
I am not going to inject anything into my body ever again.
No exogenous anything.
I've done that. I've been talking to my doctor, my doctor or my urologist.
Yeah.
And he's telling me, like, you could do this, and I got a prescription for something over the counter. Not over the counter. I got a prescription for a prescription, not over the counter, but a pill that I could take based on my testosterone levels, because I'm not bad, but I'm just not. I mean, as soon as I started talking about him, like his eyes almost popped out of his head, and he was just like nodding, just like these places that pop up. I take nothing away from it. If it's working for you, it's working for you. Obviously, all these people are out there.
There's a lot of studies that support, but it's very responsible use,
On the paperwork, I don't know if it was it was a brochure, not the paperwork you would sign. It literally, it printed out. It says, "We do not understand the effects of these drugs."
Yeah, well, it's not regulated, so they kind of have to put that there.
And it even said, like, for 15 years, something about the amount of years. And I looked at that and I was just like, see, I do know what happened to me.
Yeah.
Can I say 100% it was because of the things that I took? So I had taken HGH.
Right.
I did one cycle of HGH, but I had also taken D-ball.
Okay.
And Winstrol.
Right. Those are bad, dude.
Why did I choose that? Because that's what my friends were doing, and I was an idiot in my
I had a lot of friends who did
late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
Fast forward again, 7 years ago, I think, it was 2017, June 2017. I had a heart attack. Never had any high blood pressure. Never had high cholesterol.
Yeah.
High cholesterol did run in my family. Aunts and uncles have had heart problems. Neither one of my parents or grandparents had heart issues.
Right.
So one of the mistakes I made when I would go to the doctor and they would ask you those things like, anybody in your family have heart? And I would always just go up the tree. I never went out to the branches and maybe I would have been tested for other things and things would have been caught. Basically, I wound up being 80% blocked on my main artery.
Yeah.
Again, never had high cholesterol, never had high blood pressure, anything, nothing. And I told the story very briefly that when I was going to the hospital, when they were taking me from one hospital to the other to get stents put in.
Yeah.
When I went they basically brought me right into the room. They prep you just for them to go in. They go through the vein and they go into the heart to, check and,
it's all like endoscopy stuff.
I'm not the best. Like Ray is he knows every little intricate part of everything that when he goes to the doctor, and I probably should.
They do it through an artery.
They go in, but they use the little bag to clear the arteries, and then they have to put a stent in because it could collapse. Right? That's basically
they use a packer. They use a packer to not. Yep.
I had 3 stents the first day, and then they went back in and they put one more stent.
Got it.
Now I have 2 stents on the main artery. It was so blocked that
one of the main arteries.
Yeah, one of the main arteries.
Because you have 4.
And then there's stents around the other part. I even carry in my wallet the little, they tell you exactly where they are, and it tells you what kind of the brand
they do ask you that.
I carry it with me. They're like, you should carry this. I take pictures of it. It's in my phone, and I have it in my pocket. So what I was saying was, again, I took things. When I was on that table, that the doctor came in, who is well known in the area for this is her thing to to do stints. She came in. I don't even remember her saying hello. She looked at me.
I remember what you were gonna say.
And she was just basically like, have you done steroids? And I was just like, I nodded yes or said yes. And she was just gave you that look no. And that was it. And they're already I'm starting to get knocked out. They don't put you out 100%. And then they go in and they do that.
So D-ball and stuff like that, that's the stuff that pro wrestlers are dying of. That's the stuff, the science, where we are scientifically now with HRT, hormone replacement therapies. Yeah. Dude, they do so much work. They'll take your blood. They'll tell you to change your diet. They'll tell you to maximize your sleep. They'll tell you to maximize
it's a whole process.
Before you even get on it, they want to establish a baseline. They want to, but I don't think that's even the problem. I think what brought up this discussion, the problem is how infantile jiu-jitsu is in terms of a professional sport. Because you could go, Alistair Overeem at what is it, Glory? I think he's in because he's over 40 and he's not in the UFC anymore. He just got suspended for popping hot. Okay. I think at Glory, and then now we had what happened to five BJJ professional black belts. I was like, I don't even know why the IBJJF would even call them professionals because they don't have a professional anything.
We're gonna get there.
What do you mean we're gonna get there? That's the problem.
Well, we're gonna get there. Well, what I'm talking about though is the effects. So we're going to get to
the effects. Yeah, I don't.
The effect, when I'm talking about it, I'm talking about why I'm against it, Not just
but yours is anecdotal. It's not really scientific.
on the
no,
taking steroid side of things. If you want to take steroids and compete, that's great. But you should be competing against other people who do steroids. That's my take.
Right.
But I'm just saying, people that are doing it, and there's a lot of conversations about like, should I do it? Should I not do it?
Yeah.
This is why right now in my life I wouldn't do it, because I've been down that road one time already, and I've gone that 15 years, and I had these negative health. Not only did I have the heart attack, but I had to have surgery. I had lumps in my chest. I had I had to go through all the shit, not just the heart attack.
Right.
So when somebody's asking me if they should do it, or like everybody's doing it, I'm going to try it. I'm nervous for myself because I've been down that path once. Am I going to do it again and then in 15 years be in the same boat again where I'm unhealthy? Right now, I've gotten like, they tell me I have a normal heart. I've talked about that on the show as well.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, like if I'm going to do, and I got to take medication. I got to take, shit for my cholesterol. Like I have to take shit, and like, am I going to take more shit?
Yeah.
Now, do I want to walk around all ripped and in practice and be beaten up? I don't know that I'm there yet.
Yeah.
But I know that a lot of people are taking it. I am telling people, be very careful.
For sure.
Because we don't know, even though it's like, oh, it's just testosterone replacement. I get it. But you've got to take the TRT.
They shouldn't casually throw that out there like that, yeah?
People are taking TRT. I went to the same place that some of these other people went. And again, I take nothing away. If you're doing it, you're doing it. I'm not saying that that the effects aren't there and that you aren't seeing the effects. What I'm saying is, even on the paperwork that you look at, and maybe that you even sign, it's telling you that they don't know the effects down the road.
For sure.
And then it's also, you're taking the TRT, but then it's you've also got to take this.
But they have to put that there legally, right? Like you go buy vitamins, right? Or protein powder. They say this is not an FDA approved.
They say the same thing.
You're not signing anything. You're not signing anything that says, I understand that this vitamin is not going to...
but the claim.
Okay, but it's a medical procedure, so then they have to follow certain protocols in order for them to let you do.
That makes me nervous when you're taking the TRT.
It's way higher risk than taking vitamin D, yes.
You've got to take things for like estrogen. Like I don't know all the ins and outs of exactly because I'm not doing it, but you're taking the TRT, but then you're also on a cycle of this thing. That got me nervous as soon as I went. I went to the same place that my other friends have gone to that are doing it. That made me nervous. It took me back to that time. So I wasn't trying to cut you off with the IBJJF stuff. I'm talking about this is why I wouldn't do it, and that I tell people, if you're going to do it, you have to understand that you don't know what's going to happen to you down the road.
I think if you do anything without doing any research, you're dumb.
Yeah.
So do your research and then see if it works out for you.
So now let's jump. That was my me standing on the soapbox. It annoyed me because I think that I didn't explain it properly, or at least I got a little feedback like, hey, steroids isn't TRT. That's not what I was trying to say on the last episode.
Yeah. Like I know you know.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the effects and that it makes me nervous. And if I have to inject myself with anything, it better be because it's got to help keep me alive.
Right.
So it makes me nervous.
Or improve your quality
of life. It makes me nervous for other people that are like, well, they're seeing other people that are like, jacked. And great. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing for you. I'm just saying it's a bad thing for me.
Thing is,
and when I'm asked for my advice, I'm like, that makes me nervous.
And
there's other ways
and you have good advice because you said it. You went into it when you were a young man and you were very uneducated in regards to that particular part of like whatever of your fitness journey, and that should also be your thing. It's like, listen, I did something really dumb. Like you should tread these waters very carefully.
You see, you know what's funny? There's a guy I watch on YouTube. Shout out to
as I drink a nasty Coca-Cola, putting that just for the caffeine.
Yeah, shout out to Psych Substance. I've been watching this guy for a couple of years, and he was like kind of a regular dude, right? Normal guy. And he started to have some health issues. Went to the doctor, found out that he was low testosterone. So they had to do TRT for him. He ended up getting jacked, but he was very specific. He did a whole episode about this. He wanted to let people know TRT is not so you can get jacked. It's to replace it if you're low.
It's not.
What I'm saying is this.
It's getting your body to start producing it again.
Yes.
Right? No. It's an exogenous. It actually shuts down your endocrine system, so your body will shut down.
But those are two different things. If you're taking testosterone, that's putting testosterone in your body.
Correct.
But the TRT is that something that makes your body
TRT is not like the chemical that you put.
It's not just testosterone.
It's testosterone replacement therapy. That's what TRT stands for. Yeah.
So it is not to be used as a steroid to get jacked. And
No,
this is
it's a
what
replacement. Yeah, I get it.
So what I'm telling you about his experience, because this guy had a real world experience, and he decided that he also wanted to get jacked, and he very, very clearly explained that the way he got jacked was not from the TRT, was not from the testosterone. That helped because it put his testosterone back where he needed to be. But what he did was through working out and through supplementation and diet and, you know what I mean, a whole process, he ended up getting really jacked.
Eating a ton of calories.
And a lot of people are like, oh, that was just a TRT. It's like, no, that's not what
that's
it's
how
for.
he would have been if his body was
if
producing.
his body was normal, correct.
I understand, yeah. And that's what, like, you meet a lot of men who are like
I'm very happy
over
he did
50 that, and all they're taking is like 5 milligrams a week, 7
And
milligrams
that's
a
a
week.
very small amount.
Yeah, or I don't even know how to, is it milliliters?
So then
To
I should say,
replace.
when I spoke to my doctor, the prescription that he's talking to me about would make my body produce more testosterone. I'm not putting testosterone in.
Yeah.
It's going to make my body produce more testosterone.
I'm not familiar with that. Yeah, that's
so. So that's what I'm saying. That's the difference. I wasn't 100% sure about the TRT because, again, I
like
entertained it
TRT
briefly.
and HRT are
it's literally
the
putting testosterone back into your body, not making your body produce more on its own.
Like there's
No.
different
Okay,
methods.
okay.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
different
so
methods. There's
once-
replacement and then there's trigger, where it triggers your body to produce. But if you're having an issue producing it, that's where actual replacement comes in.
So, and I should say, like,
But once you start doing that, that's
I'm
it.
50,
It's for life.
I'm low.
Well, not really.
Yeah,
I'm
really.
I'm 50. I'm low, but he's like, I'm not bad.
Yeah.
So he's like, I don't think that stuff is for you. I don't like those treatments, but here's a medication that you can get.
Right.
Just so happened that the medication, it's like completely out of stock. Like they're having a problem stocking it everywhere.
Must work.
It's on a ship somewhere off the coast
And
of
literally,
California.
like the generic is no longer being made, so I guess the original is not available. It's like it's a mess. So I'm like, haven't ever got it. So, and look, full disclosure, and I've already said it on the show. I did start to take a while back Astroflav. You've probably seen it. You'll see it on you'll see it now because your phone
just
heard me
said
say
it.
it.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Astroflav. I started taking that. I'm on my second. I ordered it. I'm on my second bottle. I did the.
Is that
I have now
is that
done
the stuff that like Andrew Huberman was talking about?
Yeah, I should have freaking bought the bottle. It's got the ashwagandha. You can pull
I
it
know,
up.
I know exactly what you're talking
They
about.
had talked about it on
Rhodiola.
Rogan, and then it got really popular, and everybody puts out the commercial with the guy talking about it on
Yeah.
Rogan. They literally say in their videos and online, like, we're not, where Joe
Not
Rogan does not
endorsing.
endorse.
Yeah, yeah.
So I started to watch that. So I took a couple of other I took a couple over-the-counter things because my doctor first told me, you're not low enough. Just go do an over-the-counter, and you should be fine.
There's other things you could do to mitigate, to help you produce more testosterone. Yeah.
So he said, do that. I tried a couple of different brands, and I knew, like, they all say, you got to do it for months. But I didn't feel like I was getting anything out of any of the ones I tried in the beginning. Stuff at like Vitamin Shop, and then I did the Astroflav. I definitely feel, there's like definitely going to get personal here. Definitely like sex drive, but like sleeping,
Okay.
like literally raging.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Boner.
Raging boner, like in the middle of the night.
Boner.
So you're 14 again.
Like, dude, the other day, like painfully, like raging. I was just like, Jesus.
Honey.
Yeah. But not like, so I also know that I have a lot of stress. I've run a company, run the marketing company, do this, a lot going on.
Just driving here is stressful.
Just driving here, new house this last year, daughter in first year of college. Like, it's like everything piled on this year. So I know that stress is a huge part of like things for me, for my really, really try to control and like take breaks during the day and things like that. But I am feeling like I've started to notice a difference with the Astroflav. I'm going to also say again, I've been taking stuff, I would say, for 5 months.
And you've also
but I tried this other stuff that didn't work.
Yeah.
And then I kind of, when I switched to this now, was it like I was on stuff and then this just kind of took over from those other ones? And like I've been on something long enough?
No way for you to quantify.
I know, there's no way for me to know. But I'm going to say when I switched over a couple of weeks into the Astroflav, I'm just like,
dude, it's like sometimes it works.
Hey, my friend, look, what are you doing here at 3 a.m?
You ask like that 110-year-old lady, she's like, eat mashed potatoes and 1 shot of whiskey a day. It's like, it just works for her. It's
now, this part is, I don't know if this is the placebo effect. is I definitely, when I go to the gym to lift, like I feel like a major pump, like from like what I experienced when I was in my 20s and 30s when I'd go to the gym, just be like, I want to do another set, you know, like I feel that when I am lifting weights, I'm just like
good for you, man. You found something that works.
You know, like do some more, go heavier, you know. So I do feel that. So again, is that the placebo effect? Is that? I'll say it's that. Even if it's the placebo effect, it's because of that.
I bet you what you're taking is not USADA approved.
I don't know. I got to. You can look at the ingredients. You probably know more
it's
about
not the
that
ingredients.
shit than
It has to have like a badge.
Yeah.
Just like the deer antler stuff, the deer antler felt that people take to increase their testosterone.
USADA.
USADA, yeah.
Yeah, USADA. USADA.
Yeah.
USADA.
Yeah.
know. Oh.
Everybody, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about
that.
Not a place in
we're about to get into the whole USADA thing. So anyway, I look. There are a lot of people that listen. I know. We speak to them online. I know you get messages too.
Yeah.
I know specifically when I talk about this stuff, I tend to get messages. I want it to be a little bit more clear. I know, we're talking and we're jumping in on.
No, we're laying
a
foundation.
Definitely laying a foundation
because this is our opinion. You know, where there's not.
But
I feel like a lot of people share this opinion, but this is our opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I'm also saying this, so I'm speaking from experience, my experience.
Right.
I did these things. When I did the HGH, my neck was like freaking this big, and like I didn't notice it when I was doing it.
But your intestines
look
are
at your freaking neck, or like it's huge.
Like
I worked out heavy. I did,
HGA makes everything grow.
Yeah,
literally everything.
Penis?
Everything.
Really?
Everything. Your intestines grow when you take HGH.
Can I get my HGH?
They put kids on HGH when they're not like on the curve on the scale. They'll put kids on HGH, and believe it or not, because of how hyperactive their endocrine system is, you actually have to the dose that you give a kid would kill a man.
Really?
Yeah. So when they do TRT and HRT,
it faster.
Whatever happens to their body, because I've heard about this, and I have a coworker that his kid has to be on HGH to get back on curve or whatever for their growth.
Right.
And he's like, dude, they make them take the dosage is way more than you would prescribe to a man.
Do we need to say the whole we're not doctor?
I think people have figured that out.
What?
Look at the sign.
When we say the crypto stuff,
not financial advice.
Yeah, this is not health advice.
All.
We are not medical professionals.
No,
I'm just telling you about.
We're not boner. We're not.
That's part of the problem. I never talk to anybody about doing any of the stuff that I put into my body before. I'm taking this over-the-counter stuff. My doctor said, find something that works for you.
Right.
Do the over-the-counter stuff. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
And
they sell liquor. They sell liquor over the counter. You can kill yourself with that.
So okay. So let's talk. So if we're going to talk about steroids, I got to at least this is what I think about it, and I believe that I have a like you said, like some people think like me. I have a valid opinion because I've been there and I know the bad stuff that it does to you. But now let's talk about what happened
in sports.
So in sports, right? So now we fast forward to the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
we had 5 competitors that were given
by the IBJJF. When you're a professional black belt in IBJJF in the adult division, I believe, you get random USADA testing.
Okay,
and then
is that what it is? Is it you're a pro? So does that mean black belt?
Black belt only.
Black belt. Okay,
right. Those are the ones that get tested.
You could be subject to. They're telling you it's like random drug testing.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. I didn't know about the adult.
But what I think because I made a comment and then I was in a discussion with somebody online that told me the rules. It might actually be every black belt professional that wins, that podiums, gets
first or second place. I think.
Gets tested no matter what.
Okay. All right.
If I remember correctly, right?
So now, but the thing is, so let's make the point that everybody knows that if you're getting tested because it's prohibited.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be doing
By
steroids and competing. So there's a whole bunch of things that we could talk about there. So number one, it's
1 second.
Is that fair? Is that cheating?
Can you move those 2 big bottles? Just
give me the big one. Give me the big one. I'll put it over here.
Because it's making the camera fight for focus. The other refill too.
Move this?
Yeah.
Move it where?
Give it to him so he moves it off.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. There you go. Much better.
Thank you to Feito IT and AV, specializing in commercial and residential automation, security cameras, CCTV, POS, and more. Check them out at feitoitav.com or call 305-428-2515 and let them know the dummy sent you. Jiu-Jitsu's favorite monthly subscription box has now joined the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast. The BJJ box is delivered to your door filled with premium jiu-jitsu and grappling apparel, equipment, supplements, supplies, snacks, and more. The crew at the BJJ box find the best in the world of jiu-jitsu and guarantee every box to be worth more than the cost. Each box includes 4 to 7 items you're going to love. Visit thebjjbox.com and use code JJD10 to get $10 off your very first box. And give them a follow on Instagram at TheBJJBox. Neutral Zone is combat family owned, so they know you need to keep yourself and your equipment clean. They created Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays for just that purpose. Neutral Zone products are formulated to reduce the risk of bacterial and fungal infections. Whatever's making you sweat, weight training, rolling on the mats, yard work, or just working around the house, Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays can make you feel and smell refreshed. Use code JJD to get 15% off your online order at neutralzoneclean.com. While you're there, sign up for their newsletter to receive the latest info and updates on product launches like their new shower gel and soap bar coming soon. Are you Neutral Zone Clean? Special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu-Jitsu Dummy signature tee exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
Well, my point is,
There's a lot to unpack here.
yeah, I mean, there's multiple levels. To
I
this.
got points.
You're
Can I give
cheating. Is it cheating?
Yes.
Yes.
But it's cheating for everybody because you could randomly get tested at purple belt
Yeah.
as well.
So if you get caught, should you be out there bitching and complaining that, oh, well, I got to do it, and I've got to do it. I'm older. We know what people have said in the articles.
But, I mean, nothing is black and white. Nothing, including the sport. First of all, okay, somebody that we all know down here in Miami, right? Cyborg was one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Cyborg is a over 40-year-old male that's been competing forever, has one of the biggest gyms worldwide because he has gyms everywhere in the world. IBJJF hosts everywhere in the world, right? You know how much money indirectly Cyborg makes for the IBJJF because they have to get their card, which is $25 or $35. Then they have to go pay the $100 and whatever dollar fee, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're stimulating the economy wherever the event is at because of hotels, bars, restaurants, amenities, whatever, And that guy, I'm not the biggest fan, right? But, he generates competition. He is part of the competition. He's one of the most winning IBJJF.
So does that give you
champion.
license to...
No, but what I'm saying is it's like the IBJJF does not have a pro league. Next year when you're a black belt, you could be in the same division as him. You could sign up as an adult even if you're over 40. It doesn't matter. You're a professional black belt now. Because of that. But you could go to a Who's Number One event where they're not testing. You could go to EBI where they're not testing. Literally every other BJJ organization does not test, and that is the only one that tests, and it's the only one.
So then don't do that. Don't do that one then.
But it doesn't pay.
But don't do that. Your answer can't be, well, I've got to do it because I've got to keep up and I'm older. No, if the rules here are don't do steroids and compete here, then don't do steroids.
I also agree
you
with
could
that.
do a WNO. You could do the other stuff. You could do a third coast grappling. You could do
EBI. You could do whatever.
You could do all this other stuff unless those things change as well. It's the level playing field. It's the same reason why you can't do it in Major League Baseball or the NFL or anywhere that tests.
But it's not a professional sport. You can't just call somebody a pro because they signed up for a division. Like,
Well,
that's
that's
what I'm saying.
semantics. That's semantics. It's just
great.
you're saying you're not supposed. I guess what you're saying is like, so
But
anyone that's not a black belt
Yeah.
could be doing it, and it's okay.
And they are doing it.
and that's true.
Are
Versus
they
the
getting
pro
paid?
side. Okay, so I get your point.
No.
So if they're not getting paid, they're not pro.
That's the argument.
But they're
But-
getting paid in they get paid at other organizations.
Do
Do
you
you
think-
say I'm a pro in that organization because they're paying me,
Yeah.
but I'm an amateur
And
here?
they do have some paying events where you podium and you pay, and then
Yeah.
they have like the IBJJF Grand Prix, the stuff that they do on flow grappling.
The larger
guys get
point
paid.
is if you're doing it.
You're a cheater.
Yeah, I know that you're saying like everybody's doing it, but
They're
not
all-
everybody's doing it.
No.
A lot of people are doing
The
it.
majority.
But there are people that are competing clean,
Yeah.
and now you have an unfair competitive edge.
Yeah. And there's a couple, I believe.
And if they're telling you we don't want you to do that if you're going to fight here,
Yeah, then don't.
then don't fight there.
I agree.
And then don't complain when you get in trouble that, well, I did it because of this and they should understand. No, you should, great, yeah, do it, but don't cite them as they're wrong or they should understand. You're not understanding.
Yeah.
You're like a child going, but Mom, I want to do this, right?
Okay, but it's
No,
not.
I told you not to touch that. Don't touch that. When you touch it, you get in trouble.
But it's not that type of relationship. It's a symbiotic relationship where they're supposed to. If they want to cultivate a professional sport, then they should do it professionally. And I don't believe that they are doing it professionally. And hey, look,
You're hung up on the word pro, and I don't really. I'm not so hung up on the distinction. I'm just saying if they say, "Hey, we don't want steroids here," and they're just saying they're saying they don't want steroids in their organization
whole
at
thing.
all.
Exactly.
But they're only testing at black belt and above.
Yeah, but
that's my understanding from what you're saying.
Okay.
That's my understanding. I just don't think
I
if
have
somebody
the sentence
says
that's gonna explain what I'm
don't
gonna say.
cheat, don't.
Okay, I
that's
get it.
considered
You just
cheating.
said the
right?
same thing
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah.
The same thing.
Go ahead.
This is what I have to say.
I can't wait till South Park does an episode on this.
There's a conversation between grown-ups where you are absolutely unequivocally correct, which you are. But it's still a conversation with grown-ups. And the conversation, the 30,000-foot view, right? Because I feel like we're in the forest, right? Can't see the forest through the trees. Is that, do you want to make IBJJF a professional sport? So the conversation isn't, did they cheat and should they deserve to be punished and they shouldn't bitch? The answer is yes, you are 100% correct.
Okay.
But that is a point, that is a battle, that is not the war. The war is they are selling themselves as a professional organization and there's a conversation to be had. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
The conversation
That's a whole different thing about money, though.
Is you're right, but you're also doing shit super fucked up and you're not, you're like, it's like they're having their cake and eating it too.
Oh, I mean that the IBJJF side is a whole other conversation that can be had.
That's the conversation.
But I think those are two completely different issues. Let's just keep it. Did they do steroids when the organization asked people not to do steroids?
I just told you were 100% unequivocally right. There's no argument there.
I don't think that those two, the whole, being pro, are they a professional organization, is completely separate.
Yeah.
You can't cite that as like, well, I'm doing it, but you're not a professional organization, so I should be able to do it. No. The rule is don't do steroids and compete here.
They shouldn't compete IBJJF at all.
Now let's have the next conversation of should we be a professional organization? Fine.
Right.
Those two
They're not mutually exclusive.
You don't have to. You could become a professional organization.
Yeah.
The rule is still going to be you still can't do steroids.
Yeah, but that's not the argument.
It doesn't affect it. It doesn't affect it.
But it's not
the
argument.
But I think that's I'm not going to say it's a childish argument. I don't believe that that's a valid argument to have. You got caught with steroids. Say you're sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Say I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Maybe give back a medal or two, however they're going to handle that.
Yeah.
And continue to run your schools and do your thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I when talking before about I don't think steroids are right for me.
Right.
And I don't think TRT is right for me.
Yeah.
But now I'm saying, as outsider looking in to these things, it's just if these are the rules, fight by the rules. If you cheat, you get caught, you get in trouble. Don't go, oh, but I did. No, you knew the rules. You broke the rules. Just stop, move on, don't cite other things. Don't cite these other things about the organization and what you do and point fingers when you cheated.
Yeah.
You can't go.
I don't think they denied. They didn't deny that they cheated.
No, but they tried to say
Make the argument that I made.
Yeah, they started to bring up other things that don't have anything to do with did you do steroids and cheat, and run away and not be on the podium and like dodge the USADA guys. Like,
right.
There's all of that side.
Yeah, but like everybody knows that already. There's a conversation to be had. I think the IBJJF and all these schools that are worldwide are getting to a point where I think what we've talked about for several episodes, going back a couple of years now, which is because the IBJJF thing isn't new. Everybody's been knowing about this.
Yeah.
So it's like the conversation to be had is the conversation that just came up now. I think the reason they tested Wagner and Cyborg and the other three, it's because they left the podium. Remember, they had a flight to catch or some shit?
Well,
like,
because
I think
they knew, okay,
exactly,
we won. Shit,
yeah. Right.
We won. We're about to get tested.
Yes.
Let's go.
Right.
Allegedly. That's really allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
You know, that's they weren't. I didn't understand. Until you read the articles, I didn't understand it when I saw the podium of like the third place guy there and the first and second place guy aren't there.
Look, I'm not an engineer, but I could build that bridge pretty easily, right? But again, that wasn't the argument. What I'm saying is like everything that you said is correct, and I agree with.
Okay.
And I've always agreed with it. And the thing that you say about steroids as well, people who are doing it without research, also these perfectly fine 25-year-old athletes that are doing it, even younger. I think some of these younger competitors that are brown, purple, I know that they're geared up.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're in their 20s. Because why? Because IBJJF is how it's like a social media app that they use. You know, like they go to IBJJF because IBJJF promotes like hell. And if you do really well, then they do well. They'll show you on Flow, like bam, bam, bam. It shows you who you are. And then it's also points based.
Sponsors.
You get to go to Worlds. Yeah. You get to do all this stuff. So it's like it's an avenue, right? And that's actually the IBJJF's counter argument to all of this is like, yeah, we know what we're doing, but you understand that like if you're big time in IBJJF, that's the one everybody respects.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. That's their argument.
Yeah.
And like I said, the 30,000 foot view conversation isn't everything that we're talking about. It's everything that brought everything that we've talked about to this point where I believe the IBJJF needs to have a professional league.
I agree. I agree. I mean, I think we're both getting to the same point.
Yeah.
And I also believe
but it won't work. But you know it won't work.
We're in a world where I believe you should also have the steroid division. I'm not even trying to be funny. These guys over here these are the natty guys, and these are the guys that are geared up. I'm fine with that, and I would watch both. I'm not hating on you because you do it.
Right.
I'm telling you, it's probably not the best thing to do for your health, but I get it. You're doing it because because money and dollars, and Gordon's come out and said he's doing it, and all these people that come out and say that I'm doing it.
It's not tested.
I believe just do that.
Yeah.
To have this league.
Yeah.
Even if it's IBJJF, these are the natural guy. This is natural, and I don't think you'd ever call it the steroid division, but you'd be like 100% natural. Everybody's getting tested or at some level. And if you don't want to get tested, you guys are all going to fight over here.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely fine with that.
Yeah, that's called...
We're getting to a place where just everybody's going to be doing it. It's like weed. You can get weed wherever you want. It may not be legal, but you can get it on...
I want to see the weed.
Wherever you want.
You're not supposed to compete drunk either.
I want to see the weed league.
So I'm fine with that. Again, I just think that their argument about, well, you're not paying us. I get it.
You understand the bigger picture here, right?
I do understand the bigger picture.
That's the bigger picture. And it's also like I've even gone to the point where I've thought about like these big schools like the ATOS, the Fight Sports, the New Wave, the Dream Teams, like all these schools, like are they getting kickbacks from IBJJF? Like who's to like this is an unregulated, they're regulated but they're self-regulated. There's no overseeing body that says, "Hey, IBJJF, make sure let me audit your spending."
They're trying to be that over
right. But what I'm saying is like right now that they're the bee's knees. They're on top, right? So what I'm saying is like who's to say that even though these big major school people, like the leads of these schools and these famous jiu-jitsu athletes are just like blah 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 about the IBJJF, but behind the scenes there's like, hey man, if you get 300 students to sign up over the course of these 3 events that are in your region, I will give you 5% of blah, 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 blah. Like, And then there's a there's a motivation to sending your guys to school.
I think we would.
to a
There would
competition.
be rumors about that you can't keep something.
How would
like,
you know that?
I just think that because everything gets out.
No.
Everything winds up coming out. I don't know that.
Nope. The hell are you talking about?
I mean, you're making it something. You're making.
It's an assumption.
You're-
it's
you're-
pure speculation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Okay.
like, what is the motivation for a guy who owns a school with thousands of students? Right. Let's just like motive. Right.
Yeah.
Thousands of students across the country.
Around the world.
Well, let's just talk about ADOs. Is there ADOs
Okay.
around the? I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know. All right, or Gracie Baja,
Okay.
giant,
Yeah.
right? Where they even hire Gracie Baja people that train at Gracie Baja to be the refs and all this
Yeah.
other stuff. But let's just say you're the King Dingaling at Gracie Baja. I don't even know who owns
But
Gracie Baja.
like, well, isn't it the same people that own Gracie Baja like are involved with IBJJF?
Even better.
Right.
Whatever. Let's just say that.
Allegedly.
Well,
Not even allegedly. That's the thing.
No, that's not the point. The point is, it's like just very basic logic to getting attendance would dictate, hey, if you get this many people to come, then this is just an incentive. You don't have to. We don't hate you.
I mean, you're making
I'll
a huge
give you-
assumption. Are you basing that on anything that you've heard?
And that's anybody. No, that's just me thinking about
All
it.
right. Okay.
Because-
Just want to make that clear that it's not.
I said
IBJJF
that,
is
I
not
said it a
paying-
million times.
Okay.
And I don't care what anybody thinks.
Okay.
This is what I think.
Okay.
Just like you have how you think about steroids, I don't think anything like you about steroids.
Okay.
Right? But I respect how you think about steroids. So what I'm saying is, what's the I don't understand how on one side of the coin you have a guy who's one of your most prominent, faces of the sport in your organization. And that one person also probably supplies a giant percentage of the attendance of all of your events worldwide. Like on the same, I don't understand how that relationship works at all. Because if I was a gym owner and I was getting screwed by somebody that makes money off of my likeness, right? Because not everybody wants to compete. But at the end of class, it's always like, hey, listen up, guys. It'd be really nice if you support the gym. And I would love to go to this event with as many people from our gym as possible. Hey, even if you don't want to compete, it would be nice for you to support your friends and your teammates, coach them, help them warm up. But guess what? If you go in there as a guest, you got to pay for parking. You got to pay for your guest entry fee unless you're the coach. You're probably going to buy an acai bowl. It all goes back to IBJJF, right? I'm just saying, hear me out.
Aren't the IBJJFs free though?
No.
From a perspective.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I've never paid. Not at IBJJF. I pay at the New Breeds.
I've paid at the I believe
I've snuck in at the New Breeds too.
And anyways, you still pay to be there. Like, let's say it's out of town. Like, oh, come with us to Tampa. Come with us to Orlando. Or if you live in Tennessee, like, oh, you live in whereversburg, come to this burg, whatever. Like, there's an expense.
I gotcha. All right.
So all I'm saying is, like, I just don't understand why all these gym owners on one coin saying, like, I hate this is the worst. Why don't you just change the rules, have a pro division, whatever, or just don't test at all? And then also supply so many people.
But I think it's because it's the biggest game in town and it still means something. You can complain about it and still do it,
I think it's dying.
It's like, I hate gas prices, but I put gas in my car.
Right.
Because it's the only thing I can do. It's the only game in town, right?
It's not the only game in town anymore.
Well, I mean, for the car that I have, if I want to move my car, I have to put gas in it. It's just the car that I have.
Car?
It's the car that I have.
That's not a good analogy.
Here it is, because I could buy an electric car, right?
You could.
But I have this car.
Yeah.
Well, if I have a gym and the IBJJF is coming like right up the road,
yeah,
and the alternative is New Breed, which is super small, or the Nagas, which is smaller.
Like their disorganization level is real
exactly,
up there.
Right? So you got to go with the better game in town. I'm not saying that I'm like pro IBJJF and I love their stuff.
Yeah, but we're talking about professional athletes. We're not talking about Miltons and Miguels. We're talking about the tippity top. That is not the biggest show in town in jiu-jitsu as a professional athlete. I think WNO is.
Yeah, but
I think one championship is.
Yeah, but you can't do a tournament. They're not doing. My students can sign up for a tournament.
That's why you need the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies series.
No.
Which will be
So
Thanks.
I mean, those are different. WNOs is it's you've got a fight, not a tournament.
But they
system.
don't. Yeah, but what I'm that's
I
exciting.
understand what you're saying. There are other games in town for the pros
That pay money.
but there aren't other games in town for my whole gym to go. From the 5-year-olds up to the adults.
But that's not the conversation we're having.
You're losing me on where you're going.
The professional, like having a professional league.
Yeah.
Right. It's like they're not professional at all.
Well, okay. So I got an
It's
example.
totally it's
I got an
semantics, man.
example,
They're
I got
pros.
an
They're making
example
money in
for
one
you.
organization. They don't make it in IBJJF.
I got an example
but they're
for you.
handling like pros. I get it. But it comes back to I thought that if we were talking about a subject or answering a question, is it cheating?
Yes.
Okay. So then we're gonna move on.
Okay.
We're gonna move on because I got a lot of other stuff that I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
So, did you listen to the Lex Freeman stuff?
I did.
B Team. Did you listen to like Danaher's last one?
Yeah.
I still have it's like 4 hours and 45 minutes of a podcast. I'm still like on the last
hour. The one
hour.
with Danaher was the one that also had Gordon.
That was the one before. He's done another one.
I know with the B Team. Yeah. There was Craig Jones.
So there's a newer Danaher one.
Mm-hmm.
The one where he did it with Gordon and
with the cowboy hat
is a little bit older.
Way older.
So there's I believe there's a newer one post ADCC with John, and then there was the one with the B Team.
Right.
So did you?
I got to see
I've
that
watched all
because
of them.
you listening to
I listened to
the
like
two hyper intelligent guys so no wonder it was 4 hours long.
Yeah. No, it's great. So I'm still listening to it. But what did you think about the B Team episode?
I think it's interesting that there's 3 so completely different personalities in a room, and I think you could relate to who you are as a jiu-jitsu athlete, even as a hobbyist. Like
one of them.
I leaned so hard towards Craig Jones, like the don't care attitude, the don't like warming up should be your first roll, your second roll, and half of your third roll, like pretty much. Like that's how I think.
Okay.
Right. If you're gonna do like specific technique, like the shrimping and all that stuff, you should do it within your role. Like,
okay.
And like I don't know, I just gravitated towards that guy. But then you got somebody like Nicky Rod, he's got an instructional on how to warm up the ritual or whatever. You know what I mean? He's hyper focused. He visualizes.
Rod, did you say Nicky Rod?
Yeah, Nicky Rodriguez.
Yeah, so it's not only was it just the warm up. It's not only the warm up. It was the whole ritual, like
everything,
like for the months of training.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Okay, yeah. So it's like the months leading up.
Aligning your chakras and doing whatever he does.
Does it go that far?
And then you got Nicky Gordon, right?
Nicky Gordon
Ryan. You got little Gordon over there, and he just like I feel like he's like hyper talented and extremely intellectual and understands the sport like unlike most. I feel like he's a Danaher type, in terms of like he has like
cerebral.
a coach's vision, but he'll also he'll mop the floor with just about anybody in the world. He's really freaking good. But like his mentality is like, I just love this thing. I feel like he's more of a purist and just kind of goes at it. Whereas you have somebody who's super calculated, and then you have somebody who I just think is just not. I think he really means it when he doesn't care and everything is fun.
I was going to say, do you think Craig Jones really
is that carefree? Yes.
Is it? Do you think that a lot of that's an act?
No.
You think that's truly how he thinks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think he's lying.
I mean, I believe him when he say he doesn't like to warm up.
You know how many Craig Jones matches I've watched?
All of them?
Yeah, I'm talking about in the gi, in Abu Dhabi, brown belt, purple belt, Craig Jones.
Yeah.
And doesn't care about anything, man.
No, I agree with that. What did you think about? So we'll get into like the split, but I thought it was an interesting dynamic where he's constantly picking on Nicky Ryan.
Nicky Ryan, who's picking on Nicky? Oh,
Craig would like constantly making jokes at his expense.
Yeah,
I thought it was like an interesting dynamic. Did you like? He made fun of him a lot. Like Nicky Ryan seems so laid back. It's like
he seemed like he didn't want to be there.
But I think it's his personality. He's so quiet, the opposite of his brother, that he enjoys the Craig Jones show.
Yeah.
even if it's kind of at his expense, because he would giggle and laugh at a lot of stuff that he said.
You could tell they're friends for sure, too, on top of that.
It's that constant needling, it's...
But isn't that like Aussie culture, though? Like they're always taking the piss out of each other. You know, like that's
probably.
What they're doing.
It's funny to
they're
watch
major
it.
ball busters.
Yeah.
It's funny to watch it. I was entertained by the dynamic, and it was just like almost like what can I do? I can imagine when they're not even on the show, like where it goes, but like how many buttons can I push before he explodes or fights back a little bit? But he just seemed like he enjoyed it. Like nothing was. Nothing was going to get him.
I feel like he knows better because if he breaks, then Craig knows he won.
Then
right. So like.
Yeah. It was entertaining to watch.
This could be going on for years. You know what I mean?
It was basically like every other time Craig Jones spoke, answered a question, he'd say something at Nicky's expense, which I thought was funny. I'm not faulting him for it.
Lex jumped on the bandwagon a couple times.
He was super quiet, but when they asked him a question directly, I mean, he like answered very intelligently. Yeah. I do see him out of all of those guys, including his brother. I kind of feel just like hearing him talk was probably like the most like Danaher. And I think maybe because he started with him for so young, he was the most impressionable. And like he did kind of look at him as like a father figure.
Naturally looks like he just has that same feel. I feel like he's going to be
like an amazing coach right?
or something or a developer or something like that. Yeah.
He may not rise to the level that his brother has risen to, but I think from the coaching perspective, I think we'll hear more about just really hazarding a guess here.
He's top 1% of a jiu-jitsu athlete.
He's going to wind up being like the one that we talk about after their careers are done, after they're not like when they're in their coaching careers.
I feel that. Yeah.
I kind of feel like he's going to be that guy.
Me too.
I don't know that with that, again, you're judging it from the outside.
Yeah.
When you watch Gordon Ryan and the way that he talks and the way that I feel like my next thing was going to be like, who's winning this whole online battle between the B team and Gordon Ryan?
As of this morning, Felipe Pena is winning that thing with the cappuccino toilet bowl thing. Woo.
We might have to have Bo put that up on the screen.
Funny is funny, man.
Yeah. I think, when going back to the coaching part of it real quick, like when when Gordon Ryan is talking about himself or whenever he's being interviewed and he gets into that place where like, I'm the best, in my mind or when I'm watching it, I feel that he's so uncomfortable saying those things, taking those shots at the other people. Mm-hmm. There's like this uncomfortableness in his face of like, am I coming off right with this? He's good. Yeah. He's good on the social media. He's good when he writes his stories. But when he's talking about it, it kind of feels very fake. I don't think that he's that bad of a guy. I'm saying fake. And
I've met him in
Gordon
person.
Ryan is a nicer guy than we see, and he's really trying hard. He's really got to push himself to be the heel.
Yeah.
And you can see it in his mannerisms. Mm-hmm. I think that I'm a good judge of that. A lot of people probably think they are. You just see it in his body language when he talks and just the way that he moves. He just looks uncomfortable when he's doing it.
I also think all the guys in the B team are the same. I feel
as far as
like all this shit talking and everything, we're talking about it.
I mean, but
this is
do you think that they're uncomfortable doing it? Or,
I think,
except for Craig Jones. I think Craig Jones is completely in his element of teasing and fucking
100%.
with people and the Gabby Garcia
100%.
stuff and messing with Nicky Ryan. Like
I follow Gordon on Instagram, and as a non-jiu-jitsu guy following Gordon, he comes off as a much nicer guy than he tries to represent himself as.
It's different when you see a picture or you see a social media or when he writes something.
I think he doesn't
comes
want
off
the
different.
rest of jiu-jitsu to think he's a wuss in any way, like he's soft.
He's not a wuss.
Like
he doesn't want them to think that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah.
Like he's too soft.
You see that? Like Craig Jones doesn't give a fuck.
It's like a Kobe
Craig Jones does not give a fuck. He's been out there with basically like with a thong on. He's been out
when
there.
He lost the arm wrestling competition with
Craig Jones really doesn't give a fuck, and that's his personality.
Right.
I believe that Craig Jones is being himself. Gordon Ryan is not being himself.
He's also self-deprecating.
Gordon, you are a nice fucking guy.
Yeah, he just comes off like that.
This is hard for you to be the heel.
Yeah.
You are a much nicer guy than you're coming off, And I see that.
Yeah.
I don't.
You know what?
If
The
somebody
nice
told
guy
me,
like
you know
that?
what, you're a nicer guy, that you're a fucking nice guy, you son of a bitch.
You know what's
right?
cool about
Like it's
that?
like I'm compliment. Like
Yeah.
I wish that it makes me uncomfortable watching it. Plus, I just don't love the whole bullying thing.
Yeah.
But he's a nicer guy than he is. Now we could go to like what. This is the first time in those interviews that we're actually hearing, like, they won't say it, but
it's
we
long
didn't,
long form.
We didn't know. Did we know that it was brother versus brother that broke things up?
Yeah, there was
Until these podcasts, there were rumors, but did we ever hear them say?
I think there was a leak of the lawsuit between Gordon.
Oh, there's a
and,
lawsuit?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I saw a leak.
I didn't know that.
Of like legal like litigation against his brother.
Okay,
For like
really?
using his likeness or something like that, if
Oh,
I remember
wow.
correctly.
I know that like Danaher had talked about
Remember
it.
he said, did you get to the part where Nikki Ryan is talking about like I spoke to him for the first time in 2 years.
Yeah, no, I watched that whole episode.
Right.
But
what I'm saying is like
I need
for
to
you not to talk to your own flesh and blood for 2 years.
Yeah.
When you spent every single waking moment with them up until that point, like cordial.
Yeah.
It's something.
I mean, you're talking about you grew up in the gym. Like this is not like when you not only
they didn't always hate each
you're
other.
Around,
and they still don't. Yeah.
Like I have a sister, 2 years older than me. You wake up in the morning, you go to school, you do your thing, you're in that. Like, these guys are literally together all day.
Yeah.
Like, when you would have gone to school, like, he dropped out of, right? He said he dropped out of school. Like, you're with each other all day, every day.
Same house.
Like,
go to the same house, same
like, you're
car.
training multiple times a day.
Same traffic,
like,
same train.
I mean, most siblings don't even spend that much time together.
Dinner tables,
right?
Everything.
Actually rolling and training together, right? So, it's kind of crazy. I feel this is the first time I got that little nugget of, oh, it was because of them. I know Danaher had said some stuff on one of the previous podcasts, but I don't know that I really understood that it was them. And even like Craig Jones said it, and it wasn't in a joking manner at that point in the podcast, but excuse me. He's saying we chose to go with Nikki. We sided with Nikki.
Yeah.
It was said in seriousness. It wasn't like
I don't think they hate each other.
Yeah, well, I think like it was like we chose a side and we chose Nikki's side. So like Danaher on this last one, I've gone through most of the podcasts where he's talking about there was uncomfortable and there was tension, but I didn't realize it's centered around the brothers. The breakup has really centered around the brothers. Other people might have left for other reasons.
And who split with who also is also like Nicky Rod, same bracket as Gordon. Mm-hmm. So it's like two of those in one gym.
That's inevitable that they would have probably had to go their own ways.
Yeah. So that will also help the decision.
I'm sure.
In terms for Nicky Rod.
Yeah.
Right? And then as for I believe that the Craig Jones thing was probably like you could tell they're really good friends. Like that's what I perceive. Yeah. Again, I guess it's all speculation from Miguel today.
Let me ask you again now. Yeah. Who do you think's winning the online battle with all this back and forth?
If I only had to choose between the two of them, between
those teams, I know you said Felipe Pena, but let's say between the two teams,
B team versus New Wave.
Yeah, or no, BT versus Gordon Ryan, because that's really what it is. There's nobody else from New Wave like taking shots at the B team. It's like the entire B team putting out videos against Gordon.
Now that you phrase it that way, I feel like I have to give it to Gordon because it is one man versus an army.
Okay,
it's 2-on-1. He's getting jumped.
Who's funnier? Who's been funnier? And had the better gotcha stuff, gotcha moments, gotcha posts. I kind of feel like it. Well,
it's the B team for me.
I feel like it's the B team.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to a big part of it is that Craig Jones just doesn't give a.
And he's also self-deprecating.
Yes, he's funny
because he's just like he's talking crap, but he's like, I'll be happy to get second place, like for the rest of my life.
It's always funny. Like you be watching Craig Jones, and like the camera's like pulling out, and you're like. Okay, he's going to be naked from the waist down.
Yeah,
like,
something.
It's always something. He's going to be wearing like a banana hammock or something, you know. But I think the fact that he like truly is in his element with this stuff.
Out of those three, who do you resonate with the most?
Out of
the four, so both Ryan brothers, Craig and Rodriguez. If you had to like pick like how in jiu-jitsu you're either a shark, a gorilla, a lion. or whatever. It's usually another animal, isn't it? Like a gator or something.
Aphid.
Okay.
You know how jiu-jitsu has their mascots that everybody uses? So if those are your 4 mascots, either of the Ryan brothers.
I'll go. Who do I like?
Who do you resonate with the most?
Craig Jones.
Same.
Because I'm just like, I love the constant teasing. I do that with my own family. Yeah. I do that with my wife
the
and
people's champ.
my daughters.
To me, he's the people's champ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's the people's champ.
He's the guy. If I had to delete everybody else's social media, I'd want to still follow him.
That's a good way. That should be like a question we ask. If you had to delete one of these 4 accounts,
follow one of these guys,
4 accounts, which one would it be? Yeah,
it would be Craig Jones. I don't want to miss what he's going to say about Gabby Garcia or Gordon.
Yeah.
The post the Pena post was funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll be able to put it up on screen at some point, but it was.
It was like after 2 weeks of diarrhea. This is what you get. It's like practice makes perfect, and it was like a perfect latte olive branch.
In a toilet bowl.
So it's like, but it also it's a diss, but it's also a compliment. It's like, because Gordon Ryan is such a perfectionist that even with a debilitating gut issue,
case of diarrhea,
that just gives him diarrhea every single day, he's able to make art even in a toilet bowl. So
wow, you really got all that from that?
It's a nuanced joke. Yeah, that is a high level joke.
I don't. I didn't look at it as long as you did, but when I looked at it, I just thought it was funny. Like,
I know my shit.
Has had diarrhea for so long or stomach problems for so long that he's now able to do this.
Yeah.
I didn't take it to the level of Gordon's like such a perfectionist that he absolutely would have.
Well, the post was a fake screenshot of a Gordon Ryan post.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't see.
So it was him that made that. As like, if Gordon Ryan has diarrhea, this is how he's going to make himself seem like the king of diarrhea. Right? Which he is.
I didn't get all that.
It's a very nuanced joke.
You got to send it to me, too. I've got to take a look. I did send it to you. All right.
Actually, I sent it to the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies account.
Oh, yeah. I got a lot of stuff there, so it's hard.
So your little one will get to see it, too, and be like, what is it?
Did I tell you guys to be careful with the stuff you send there?
Yeah.
Because now my daughter's helping with the account.
I'm going to start sending all those Kimura videos of people just clack.
I'm reading, I copied our conversation from WhatsApp about the things that we wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
And I just got to how much IBJJF sucks.
Yeah.
was your comment.
I brought that to the top.
It should be on the list.
The cream rises to the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we kind of talked about it. Like, like the hobbyist side of it, fighting in the local tournament, knowing you're going to be fighting people that are probably roided up.
Yeah, but what if
it's so prevalent now?
Think about how many 20-year-old, think about how many 25-year-old black belts.
And then
they're going to be.
I said hobbyist fighting steroided pros, and you wrote roided hobbyists too.
Yeah.
So it does go both ways.
I tangle with several roided hobbyists at my gym.
Roided or TRT'd, is that right?
They're men of means.
Okay.
So yeah, they're doing it right, and it feels wrong because they're older. Because they're older than me, and when they get a hold of you, it feels like the strength of 3 dying sons.
All right.
Yeah, it's a lot.
3 dying sons. So one of the other things we wanted to talk about, I know that this was discussed a lot. We'll get away from all that other crazy stuff.
This is fun, by the way.
And yeah, I'm having a ball.
I'm having a blast.
I've had so much to say.
We have to talk about the card that's coming up. Ooh, we should make predictions
on which
because
card?
It's not the huge is the Usman card in UK.
Yeah.
This weekend.
The thing is, we usually don't talk about stuff because it airs after.
That's what I'm saying. But we could make predictions and let's see.
We could pull up the
I'll pull up the card. Yeah.
So okay, let's talk about. We talked about this a lot. I don't know that we've really gotten our full, or you probably haven't gotten your full opinion out because I know that I've given mine. The rolling hard and winning practice.
Yeah.
So I had a conversation. There's a white belt that I roll with regularly now. I usually drill with him. He's a bigger guy, probably my size. Yeah. Probably right around my weight. And it's funny. It's
on
usually,
top of being
how people partner up.
Yeah.
It's like the ocean parts. And it's like me and him, and I'm like, "Come on."
He's your IBJJF.
We've been rolling together a lot, and or at least drilling together a lot. And I do what I enjoy the whole he's brand new, and hey, look, do this, and hey, little big guy trick here and there. And he's he takes the information.
Yeah.
Like not sometimes people are like, all right,
So
whatever.
not only
Well,
you're Mysterious Milton, you're Milton the mentor.
I like it.
You like teaching, so
I do like it.
I know you enjoy it.
I like it when somebody's willing to like.
Is he your size too? Right?
Yeah, he's about my size.
Okay, that's great.
He's a big dude.
I would take.
I say he might even be a little bit.
I would take your
heavier than
advice.
me.
I mean, all joking aside, I've learned a lot from you. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I had the conversation with him the other day. Like we've been rolling together enough because right, you do your drilling and then you do that first roll, and I think I don't know if I did a neon bellied him. I basically submitted him hard.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like I rolled hard back.
You got
because he was rolling so hard. He's still a new guy. I didn't feel comfortable enough to tell him till recently, like, just so you know, this was like 2 classes ago, I said, just so you know, if you calm down a little bit, I'm going to calm down and I'm going to let you practice your technique.
Yeah.
But when you go like this, I've got to protect myself, so I'm going to go hard. I'm going to get you into
you're giving him the cheat
position.
code instead of him having.
Yeah.
You don't think he would learn that lesson by himself? You just smash him a couple times.
I smashed him enough that he wasn't getting it, and I think there's some guys that have like, well, I got to roll harder because Milton rolls hard.
I got you.
And I explained to him, I said, just want you to know,
that
if
happens.
you calm down, I'm going to calm down. I said, I'm always going to roll. I forget who said this, like I always
Piro?
roll. Like, yeah, like I like that. So I've been using that, and I guess I was kind of doing it, but I didn't necessarily.
Can I just stop you
say it
1
the way
second?
that he said it. Go ahead.
Did you see that Piro's? You see his
account
story?
got hacked?
Not hacked. Somebody made an imposter account.
Yeah. Yeah.
The balls.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the guy who could actually.
He's like, that's not my account.
It's like, but that's like the guy who could actually make a phone call and go like, please find out who this is.
Yeah, right.
Don't tell me his real. I want to know his address. You know what I mean?
So for those who may not have heard that episode or don't know about
And for all
George Piro, former FBI special agent in charge in Miami, who is a jiu-jitsu practitioner. I believe he's still a purple belt. Competitor.
He's doing great.
Professional competitor now.
Sure, yeah.
And somebody
who could call
I
in a
guess,
drone
spoofed
strike.
his account or whatever.
No, they're
set up their own account.
They're trying to make money off his likeness.
Yeah. So they set up their own George Piro account. And he had to put out a post that said, "This isn't
How
me."
funny is that?
That's crazy.
I think that was a warning shot. I think that's what that, because the next one's gonna be like a counter
A literal shot.
Yeah, a literal shot.
All right. So back to what were we saying about the winning practice?
You were
stuff.
talking about winning practice. Yeah. You were saying if I.
So I follow that George Piro.
You roll here. I go.
Yeah. I'm gonna roll a little bit higher than you. I'm gonna roll like just a slight level above.
Yeah.
And I explained that to him, and he was rolling hard. So I told him that after submitting him, I said, at the end of that roll, I said, if you calm down, I'm gonna roll a little lighter,
your
and I'm gonna let you practice it.
Your question to me is like, how do I feel about that?
Yeah, well, just the overall, like a lot of we've heard it a lot. We talked about it here, but then online you hear the whole, don't win practice. What are your thoughts on rolling hard in practice?
Okay, depends what you're practicing for.
Okay,
right. It depends what it is that you're doing for your own individual schedule that day, because I don't owe you anything in my practice with my role, and I really feel really adamant about that. So it's like if I want to come in and I want to roll soft, right? I should either have the etiquette to say that like I'm rolling soft, but you could do whatever you want, or are you going to roll hard because I will find another partner to roll with, right? Because if you're at a level where you're like, hey, you should do this, then what's the difference between you saying like, hey, man, I'm going to give you the cheat code. If you don't spaz.
So you're saying it's okay for you to be able to go in and do that?
It depends. Yeah,
it's okay for you to go in and say, I'm going to roll soft today. If you don't want to roll light, I'll find somebody else.
Correct. I think that's totally
so
okay.
Far. I agree.
But it's also okay if Spazzy White Belt goes up to Milton and I'm going to kill you. And you should either A, once it starts like that, say like, hey, I don't want to roll like this. And I think you're perfectly okay to say something like that. Or you go with the flow. But it's not the other person's fault that they wanted to do whatever they wanted to do that was within the limits of, I'm not saying go in there and start faking the strikes and doing all that dumb stuff. I think that's all horseshit. But like if white belt, blue belt, purple belt, whatever, coral belt wants to go ape on you, then
it's okay.
I think it's completely okay. Now, I think
does that person owe you a, hey, listen, I'm rolling hard because I'm going to be doing a competition?
I don't think anybody owes you that.
What if it's a brown belt on a white belt? What if it's a brown on white crime?
Sucks to be that freaking
The
white belt.
Okay.
And you know what? But the white belt, I think that the culture in the gym is also very important. And we talk about that a lot. I think it should also be not a problem at all for a white belt to go like, hey, I'm uncomfortable. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gassing out. I'm not feeling like I want to come back because of how I've been treated here. And be like, oh, okay. Then we'll work with, okay, you're this kind of guy. Okay. Because there's different kinds of guys. But let's say what Piro did. I don't roll with normies who aren't competing when I'm 6 weeks when I'm 6 weeks out, right? So you also got that type of thing. Okay. Or you got I go to this gym. You know, you go to 10th Planet Hollywood and you train at 9 o'clock at night. Let's just call that the pro class. And you go in there and just because like let's say you're like a X-ray tech and 9 o'clock at night is your 9 o'clock in the morning and you just did your shift. Like if you go in there, just know that that's what you're going into. Yeah. Right. But I don't think nobody owes you anything. The only thing I feel extremely strongly about is any man overpowering a woman in a smashing type of way. Okay. Like how Lydia was talking about. Yeah. Like that. I think there is a level of respect there where it's anybody weaker too. Like sometimes the 16-year-old just got into the adults class. Right? Like when little Alex was little Alex. You don't smash him. Yeah. Even though he had his tendencies when he was that young to just literally, and he's a rider. Always gone hard. He's a ride or die dude, right? But out of respect, you look at his mom and you go, yo, your kid's crazy. and then you either give up the submission or you hold your position or whatever because you could actually hurt him. Yeah. Just like you could hurt a little girl, you know? Because essentially that's what they are. Like, I don't care. Dude, if it's a 125-pound girl, let's take Sophia, for example. She's strong, super strong. I could grab her and throw her. Yeah. I could be extremely disrespectful. And I think any man could do that. Now, well, I don't think either one of us have been in those environments. I mean, that probably happens out there, but you and I have never been in an environment. But what I'm saying, you're asking me my opinion, and like I said, nothing with me is black or white. It's extremely nuanced, right? Yeah. So I say, do I owe you or anybody owes you any explanation to what I want to do? No, not at all. But you also have the right, both parties have the right to say, like, these are my intentions. If you're not cool with this, then I'm okay if you choose somebody else. So I agree with most of what you said. I'm gonna say that's your phone. But I don't know. Siri talk to somebody. What's she gonna do? You agree with most of what I want to say. I agree with most of what you're saying. I know the culture in my gym right now is we're here to everybody is on the same page. We're all here to learn. Right. We're not. It's family. It's family oriented. We have a lot of kids that train. Mm-hmm. Families. You want to roll hard? Come to the competition class. Right. There is an adult competition class as well. Yeah. Especially leading up to, we do a class after the normal 7:30 adult class. If you want to roll hard, or you want to learn things that an advanced technique, or work on your game, specific training. Yeah. I know I'm going to talk about the adults class specifically because I don't have kids that train there, although I see the program. At 7:30, we do our half hour, 45 minutes of warm-ups and drills. Yeah. Like 10 minutes of warm-ups, 15 minutes of warm-ups, easily a half hour of drills. Yeah. We don't start doing roll until like 8:15. I got maybe there's 2 rounds, and you could stay longer and you can train more. When we're rolling, everyone is given the same instruction, which it wasn't always like this. Yeah. And guys do roll harder. Certain people you'll see roll harder. If you want to roll hard, make sure you're rolling with somebody your size and experience. If you are a brown belt crushing a white belt, you're going to get it. You're going to get spoken to. You know whose responsibility that is at that point? The coach. That is the coach's responsibility. Yeah. That brown belt is well within his right to completely demolish that white belt. No, he's not. You have no right to do that. You're not. That's what you're there for. No, you're not. And what if you're there for that day? You're there to learn jiu-jitsu. Okay. You're there to learn jiu-jitsu. That's the part that I'm disagreeing with you on. But jiu-jitsu, everybody has their own 25% maybe their own little journey. That brown belt is in the wrong class. that brown belt.
Well, it just doesn't happen.
No, this is like your IBJJF argument. Is that brown belt cheating? Is he doing anything wrong?
Hold on, let me finish explaining, because the culture has been different as I've been there for so long that we were in places where it was just like, all right, well, they're rolling hard. Hey guys, be careful, don't hurt each other. And now it's, hey guys, nobody's rolling like that. We're all here to learn. Right. So you start out with a flow roll. You want to roll a little bit harder. You roll a little bit harder. Yep. But you're not going to be if you're a brown belt. Our professor is going to have a problem with you if you are a brown belt beating the shit out of a white belt. Whatever.
That happened to me at that gym a lot.
But it's not happening anymore.
I understand
because we've been given the directive.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to roll hard like that, stay for the competition class, or come on. We 7 days a week there. Right. Friday, there's a Friday class in the evening, an adult Friday class, Saturday, Sunday. It's advanced techniques. Yep. If you want to roll hard like that, you're going to go through the entire, on Friday, it is all drilling, no rolls. Yeah. Saturday is 1 hour of drilling. You can stay to roll after. Sunday, the same thing. It's an hour of drilling. If you want to roll hard, you roll hard after that drilling. You're going to learn technique, and then you can drill. And even when you're have the ability to roll hard, you should not be beating up anybody
in that specific situation. Rank, you're correct,
or smaller or lower rank.
Yeah. But there's a rule now.
So well, like it's
that's
known
a very
to
specific. It's not known.
Guys. We're not.
It's a very specific.
We're
rule
not.
In that gym.
We're not here to beat each other up. We're here to learn jiu-jitsu.
Got it.
And you beating up that guy doesn't teach him anything. Yeah. There an argument can be made. Well, he's learning how to defend himself. Yeah, but not if you're just like completely crushing him, hurting him, being disrespectful.
In your gym.
Yeah. In my
Correct.
When you say
and to be
I
honest
have
with
the
you,
right
that's
to go
most
there,
gyms. You do. And guess how long you're gonna last in a gym that doesn't like that. You're gonna get talked to.
But then you roll to that gym's, to their rules and their level.
But what I'm saying is like we're talking about like in the Matrix when the room is just white and it's like, oh, this is just the program. We don't have anything in here. If jiu-jitsu was just like that white belt is right and that brown belt is right within the rules of jiu-jitsu, period. Right? Would you agree to that?
No, because that's not a rule in jiu-jitsu that we get to roll it. It's the rule of the gym that you're in and the culture that that gym sets.
You can't separate that from what I'm saying. I already told you were right in your specific scenario. But there's gyms that you could go to that are exactly. You could go to the goat shed and go get hit in the head with a Lamborghini or something.
But that's their culture, and that's okay because a lot of those guys are going to be training pro, and we only see what we see online. I don't know if he's got any like amateur classes, or I have seen some of the kids' classes. They go hard.
But you're like refusing to separate. You're refusing to separate culture from like jiu-jitsu, right? Like you're learning jiu-jitsu,
but you're never not learning jiu-jitsu in a gym who has their rules. If you and I were going to go throw some mats on the grass out in the back of the building, we get to make those rules or decide that there are no rules, right? But if you go into a gym, you should abide by that culture of that gym.
Yeah, but if you're not, but there's lots of gyms where you are told, and there's a majority of the gyms that you go to, it's a business. Mm-hmm. If I own a business where my product is the people who attend my business, I'm going to take care of my product because my product is what makes me money. If Jimmy has a hurt knee and Tammy hates getting crushed by Tommy, and there's all these feuds, and I'm not controlling the relationships, because I feel like as a coach, like you even got to get down to like, hey, you guys are dating, go find another.
You can't train together.
No, just go.
No, this doesn't work.
Right.
No, don't train.
No, yeah, and
that happens.
Yeah, when they like each other and stuff like that, and like
how many years did fucking Felipe keep me away from Alex, older Alex, when we're like best of friends, but.
Yeah, no.
For years they were like, no, because we had a little scrap.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, it's like everybody has a right to announce what they want to do, but everybody also has a right to do whatever you're allowed to do. Right. So, like, if I want to go in the
scope of that gym, or you're saying in the grander scheme of jiu-jitsu?
Just jiu-jitsu.
Okay. But where are you doing that jiu-jitsu inside of a gym?
I mean, what if you're doing an IBJJF competition?
You get very frustrated when I don't.
just think that like you're not thinking abstract enough, and I feel like that's the conversation we're having. You're having a very specific conversation where I'm just like, let's just pretend jiu-jitsu's free.
But we're not talking abstract. I'm saying, hey, what do you think about rolling hard and winning practice in your gym? How do you feel about that guy that does roll hard?
That's like such a hard question.
You've been doing it long. Like, okay, so there are.
I would never crush a lower belt or anybody who is rolling with me, and I could. You do it for so long, you feel a person's mood, and we've talked about that.
Yeah.
And you also have different relationships with different people that you roll with, and that's all a cultural norm. But like sometimes I do catch a wild hair in my ass, and I'll beat up a 50-year-old dude, and I'll try to beat up a 20-year-old dude, and I won't crush, but I'll literally go bap 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 north south bap 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 on a smaller opponent just to like test my cardio and move from position to position, and I'm completely dominating and not giving them anything, right? And that's been done to me too. It's a two-way street.
Okay.
So I still stand by what I say. Like, if you just separate everything, I think if you're the guy that wants to go in that day and you want to win practice, go for it, but everything has a consequence.
I agreed with you everything up to that last statement.
Everything's a consequence. Because of that, that's the consequence. You would never, ever, ever deal with a person.
I don't think that there's... But in your gym, does that happen in your gym? And does Adrian go, hey, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What do you mean?
If somebody comes in and goes fucking ham on somebody, and it's just like, you clearly are better than that person, don't do that.
I can't recall where any of that has ever happened.
Him saying something, or that somebody came in with a bug up their ass?
That's
okay.
Scenario.
So then I think we're saying,
but there's awful stuff that I've seen happen in there as well.
I'll go back and say at my first gym, I mean, I was only got as high as a 2-stripe white belt. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went ham on the new guys all the time, but I didn't know any better.
There's people that go in there.
I was a shitty partner.
Like knee on neck. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I did knee on neck last year, and then or knee on sternum.
Yeah.
Mauricio wouldn't roll with me. Still runs from me most times because I did the knee on sternum to him, and he was very upset.
Yeah.
So upset that we had to have a conversation outside of the gym about it.
And here's
like, hey, that's mine. I messed up that you did that.
Here's what I have to say about that. You were both right.
No,
I don't think you were wrong.
I think I was wrong.
You were not wrong.
Well. Yeah, okay. I'll agree with that part because remember what was that guy? Ouch. That guy, Ouch, whatever. Ouch. He used to freaking do that to everybody.
URT. I never hated. I've never hated anybody that did.
No, not hated him. Hated it.
Oh, it.
That move, the neon sternum.
Yeah.
Oh,
but he did some sneak. Everybody's got their sneaky, dirty, tricky move.
But he was like, we weren't the right gym for him. He was somebody that was like wanted to be out there competing. Yeah. He was a big dude. Like he needed to be at an American top team. He needed to be with like guys that are pro.
Right.
He was big and beefy, and he wanted that atmosphere.
Yeah. And that's the most beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu to me.
That he could go there.
And now, especially now that it's like the whole crayonche thing doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. You
could just go, like, if today I feel like getting a butt whooping, like in my gym specifically, the man, I forget the professor's name, but I think it's Salmon, something like that. He's up in Lake Worth, and his gym up there is big boys, big hitters. Come and get it. Yeah, you know, and they roll hard up there.
Okay,
right. So like,
but that's gym, that's gym culture.
My buddy
so
went up there and he's like, "Man, I got to go up there more often." They gave it to me, you know.
Yeah.
No remorse. And it's like, that's the mentality of the guy who went up there.
Okay.
Right? And it, like, in that scenario, what you just did is not wrong. And but what you did in your gym to the guy that's your friend is also not wrong. But it came with the consequence of having the conversation.
It's
of
not
like,
wrong, but it was a dick move of me. It's a legal move.
In that one specific moment, it was a dick move. It's not a dick move. It wasn't the jiu-jitsu relationship you had with that partner at that time. Because if you did that to me, I would fucking laugh. I would laugh, and I would tap, and I would get up because you like to sit down. I'd call you a fucking dick, and then I'd be in your lockdown 3 seconds later. You know, like. But that's my mentality. Okay. You know, you doing that is not wrong, but it is wrong when you do it to Mauricio because he doesn't like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just stopped doing it. I don't think I did it to him again. Now
you should do it to somebody else. Who does like it?
I have done it to. I should say I probably did do it to him again, or really I probably stick to more like a knee on belly with him.
Yeah.
But he does all this lapel stuff that
Like
I don't think he
warm
listens.
guard?
So I can tell him he's not really good at it. I don't think that it's his game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you need to be a little stronger to be able to grips and to hold and to do this game that he's trying to do.
But it's what he likes.
But he winds up doing a lot of like rubbing your gi or his gi across your face, and you get the marks. And I'm like, you're not doing this
It also
right.
sucks.
You haven't. It's not something he was taught. He's like learning it on. Sorry, Mauricio, if you're listening. Somebody's gonna tell him. Justin, don't tell him.
Don't
Don't
be
tell him to watch the
sorry.
episode. He does it. He's not good. He's doing it from watching videos and not from instruction by a coach
And also not drilling it.
and not drilling.
He's doing it live.
He's doing it and learning it, and it's just like. And I've gotten angry and then given him like a knee on belly or something. Gotten aggressive
Again.
because
Not
after
wrong.
the knee on serve.
Dude,
Yeah,
somebody taking their lapel
that's me
and then
going
pulling
this.
up on it like
Yeah.
this on your nose hurts like all hell.
but if this is him and this is me, that's me going. I'm going to be here.
okay.
Right, that's the level. Just a
well
level
within
above.
your rights.
Yeah, absolutely.
He knows.
Uh,
he knows he's giving you gi burn. You know.
Yeah.
He knows. So
I-
you could have the conversation where it's like, hey man, if you want to play freaking Johnny Grippo on my face, like
Yeah.
don't.
I've wanted. I mean, I probably told him like, dude, you're not like doing this right. Like,
And this is what I'm talking about. The everybody has a right to tell you what they want or don't want, but
Mhm.
everybody also has a right to not say anything at all and go in there and play their game. So if you want to go win practice, go for it. But
You
it comes
could.
it comes with the consequence of you doing donuts in the middle of an intersection.
Can we agree that if you are going to be that person, the proper etiquette to trying to win practice is to do it against somebody that's more at your level?
You could do this
At
too.
least.
100%.
You shouldn't be a brown
It
belt
should be
doing
mutual. It should be
winning
mutual.
practice on a white belt. What did you really win?
It should be mutual.
Right?
You could do
All right,
this
we can
too.
agree- we
You
can
could tell
agree with
them,
that.
listen, let's pause for a second. Let me show you how to do that
No
the right
way.
way.
If you
And then you
dude,
just choke the
if you-
shit out of them.
if you stop me mid roll to go, if you stop me mid roll to show me a
No,
move
no.
when I want to roll live, I'm gonna be pissed.
No, I was kidding.
I know.
I was kidding. You stop them and you say, let me show you how to do this
And then you
right.
get
and
'em.
you choke the shit out of them.
You know, I had to. It's funny because it always happens with flow. I have contacts,
Yeah.
and we do a lot of like we're doing this whole like series where it's like very heavy on the shoulder.
Yeah.
You're kind of going over. He calls it the Whopper. I think people call it the what Gordon does with the smush,
Smother tap.
the smother, right?
Yeah.
I think some people call it the
Your Abu Ghraib move.
no. What's a straight jacket?
Yeah.
They call it the straight jacket. You're like that.
Yeah.
Shut up.
So if when she does when anybody does it, if they give me that shoulder pressure here and you push my cheek up, the contact comes out. So it always happens with flow, and like the contact comes out. It's like I leave these in. I need that contact, and if I've got to take it out and roll, I've got to stop. I can't just be like rolling and holding it.
No, yeah.
Put it down,
I've
put
been
it
there
down
when
the
you
mat.
lost it before, actually.
I mean, if I have one, I'm fine. I can get home, but if I lose them both, it's very blurry.
Yeah.
So
It's a good thing you live 30 seconds away.
It's happened before, and it's come out, or I've stopped, and I just felt like I felt bad because I had to tell her to stop again when it's happened before, and I'm like she's really laying into me, and she's on the top, and it's popping out, and but when it folds up, it gets a little scratchy, so it's like scratching, and it's annoying. So I'm going like this. I'm not telling her to stop, and I'm like hey, my contact's coming out. She's like, so let it come out, and she wouldn't stop. And then she kind of slowed a little bit. I'm like, Flo, I got it.
I guess.
And then it just kind of, I was like, do you see it? Did it come out? No, I thought I lost it. And we kept on going. But it's funny. And she's just like, no, motherfucker. Let's keep on going,
Yeah.
And again, I felt like I was being that guy that's just like, oh, like you get me in a bad position. And I'm like,
Yeah.
stop. I felt like a little bit of
Yeah,
an
but you
asshole.
guys have that relationship. If you would have seriously just went, Flo, please, and she would have been like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no,
Immediately.
I felt like she took it as like, oh,
you were. I know.
I
what
got
you're
you
saying.
here. I got you here.
You're in a hurt locker.
And you got to give me the stop now.
Right.
Or like the guy that's just like guide you through the submission.
As
You're
soon
like
as-
you're
as
getting
it's
it. It's like
close.
yeah,
Yeah.
finish it. Go ahead. You almost got it. Like whatever.
Long
Thanks,
hand
asshole.
over short hand.
Yeah. I got a couple of quick questions. Very specifically, this is actually Justin Lancaster who named the drill down
The drill
for
down
us.
guy.
He gave us. They're not commented. he DM'd me. Are you looking for them on Instagram?
Actually, no. I set up a profile thing. It was like send your live. Like just send me DMs of a.
Okay.
I got a question actually.
Okay, cool.
I was just reading it.
So we'll do this one. He sent 2. I'll do the first one, and then you can ask yours, and then I'll ask you his second one.
Is this the drill down?
No.
Okay.
But now we got the sound bite.
He happened to name it.
Yeah.
Okay, so he says, question for you both. You get to train jiu-jitsu with any person, dead or alive. They're alive for the actual training, though. No dead fish bodies
Damn
here.
it.
Gi or no gi for only 2 hours. One-on-one personalized training.
Mm-hmm.
Who is your pick, and what would you want to focus on?
Kron Gracie, dummy sweeps and guillotines.
Okay.
Damn, he really knew.
He
knew exactly
super fucking
what it was.
specific, quick.
I've thought about this.
You want to?
This is not a new question in my brain.
Okay.
Wow.
This is an old question.
I want to kind of say. Let me see. You said Kron. When I read the question, I was like kind of Hicks and Gracie. I've heard
That's a good
Felipe. I've heard Felipe talk a lot. I think Felipe went to a seminar and he references him a lot.
Yeah.
And I've just always been intrigued by the things that he brought back from that. So I'm just like, to be in the mind of one of the
Yeah.
originators.
If I picked Hicks,
and then he also has
I'd pick his breath work.
Yeah. Also because of the MMA side and wanting to hear about those early days of fighting in Japan and
You think
that
he was on
craziness.
steroids?
Back then? Was he ever that? I don't think so.
You don't think he was on steroids?
No, I think you can kind of tell like somebody gets to this beefiness.
I don't think he was on steroids either.
I think I can't like visually.
I gotta rewatch. I gotta rewatch his old matches.
I don't think he was ever like that. Like he was always.
He was ripped. Don't
ripped,
get it twisted.
but not that.
But his delts
beefy.
weren't like super round.
And like you
he
get
did have
veiny,
a thick neck.
You get super veiny when you're doing
vascular.
Vascular.
Yeah.
So I would say I can't say
Vascular.
what would I want to focus on? I do like you said the breathing thing. I really do like that. I would just want to know like I would maybe more of the self-defense style of jiu-jitsu. Those things that like we get lost a little bit in the sports jiu-jitsu world, like the whole like I've got a knife or I grab you here, the stand-up stuff that we don't really that we've kind of lost.
Yeah.
That the Gracies or like Henner and Hedon, they still incorporate
The green mat stuff.
That stuff. Yeah, like that basic stuff, which I don't know many people that do that. It's so sport oriented these days.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be my choice.
The gamification.
Do you want to ask your question?
Yeah. So this is actually the guy that he trains at my gym at Henzo Weston. Shout out. His name he's Brian the Kid.
Brian the Kid?
Yeah. On Instagram. And he said, when did you feel like you sucked at jiu-jitsu?
When did you feel like you sucked at jiu-jitsu?
When did you realize that you sucked at jiu-jitsu is essentially, I think. That's how I'm reading the question.
Okay, so is he fucking with you?
No, I think that's an honest question.
Okay.
No, you ever have a job where you don't realize how much you don't know until you get to a certain point?
Yeah, sure.
I think jiu-jitsu has that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? When did you realize that you sucked at jiu-jitsu? Even let's say you were already beating blue belts, but you're like, "Oh, I'm crap at this."
Okay.
Still, like there's a lot of room to grow.
Okay.
Here,
Am I answering first?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I'm actually feeling that way now.
Mm-hmm.
No, I really
that makes
do.
sense.
The Brown is high level, yeah.
The more I get closer, or the closer I get to black belt, I think I had this conversation with Felipe. The more I feel like, wow, I'm really. Everybody who said, "Oh, the journey really begins at black belt,"
right.
and all this time I've been like, "Whatever, asshole, you're like 10 years in."
Yeah,
I'm feeling that now.
Like when grandparents tell you, like, enjoy the moment with your kids. It's gonna be like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah.
I'm like, whatever, and now I'm like, oh, I have never felt as much pressure since I got those 3 stripes. I've never felt what I feel now. So much so that I even brought it to my wife. I go,
you've said
I feel this. I go, I'm not only feeling pressure about life, I'm feeling pressure about getting close to black belt.
Uh-huh.
And it's more evident to me the things that I don't know. There are I'm not embarrassed to say there are glaring holes in my game that in my mind I need to know before black belt, but it's not that big of a deal. I'm putting that on pressure on myself.
Right.
When we first started the podcast, guys like Mauricio, who else? Like Raul.
Yeah.
When they were getting promotions, like they were like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready. And a lot of what we talked about in the beginning was like, no, dude, you're like, don't worry about getting the next belt. You're not getting a purple belt or even the blue and be like, you know everything in blue. No, this is the beginning of the journey.
Yeah.
You went from first grade to second grade. You don't go to second grade and you're expected to know everything.
You're not graduating that day.
You're going to learn, and each stripe represents a little bit of that journey. Right. So stop.
It's like a quarter. You know when you get your quarterly report cards? Yeah. That.
So now more than ever, I feel that sense of I should know more. I need to go more. I'm not here enough. And I do think back
am I spamming the same move?
That I do. Yes.
Should I expand my repertoire?
I defend myself with that where, I mean, I think I am. Okay, so I said before, we do a Friday night class now.
Uh-huh.
I have never enjoyed a class more than that class, and there's no rolling for the most part. You could stay after and roll probably.
It's a drillers make killers class.
We're learning things. You actually tell people like, don't come if you're not advanced already. Like you can't just be a new white belt and do it. We do have like a couple of white belts that show, but it's like, no, guys, this is for advanced people only.
Yeah.
And it's a full drilling session of things that we have never learned before. He still does it like his series, but it's not what we're doing during the week.
Maybe he's doing something more advanced, more like a flow progression, like in terms of like bait this to catch that.
We're doing a little bit more leg stuff and some leg entries and single X like entries. We're doing a lot of things that we just never have done before.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that he's doing it. I think he's got a couple. Me and Ray,
college level.
Yeah, me and Ray as brown belts, pretty much at the same level. Where I don't know that he did it for us or anything like that, but I'm glad that he did because I'm feeling like he's
a need.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you guys are going to be I don't know that he did it for this, but I feel like part of it is you're representing me, and you guys are going to have your black belts. You need to know these other things.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's especially like. I feel like I know Felipe, like we're not friends, we're friends, but like I know him, I know his mentality. I feel like he's like, if it's getting to the point now where I'm going to have real people really wearing my black belts that are mine.
Yeah.
And I think he feels a responsibility because you feel a responsibility. And he's the type of person where you say something to him and you're not sure if he's processing it or anything, but he literally will write a mental note down and think about it, and like a fucking, what are those things? Like a caterpillar in a cocoon, man.
Yeah. It'll
just be this butterfly like 3 weeks later.
We're learning stuff that we haven't learned before. We're practicing things that we haven't practiced before.
Mm-hmm.
I
think you're right.
I've always said this. At white belt to blue belt, my basics that we still practice every day, even as a brown belt, we practice basics. Just different mounts and side guards and passing. I was better at that stuff at white and blue than I was when I left that school and blue to purple, even into brown, because I was also teaching it.
Yeah,
I was a white and blue belt training
training
6 days a week. And my coach, he would not be there, or I would run the class. I'd do the warm-ups, run the basics, and then he'd come in and teach a move. Not, standing there watching me do that and letting me coach. He was teaching me how to coach.
Yeah.
He would literally be in the corner, maybe like the Jiu-Jitsu University book, going like this. Let me see what I'm going to teach today while I ran the class in the beginning.
Yeah.
And because I did that, not only with the adults, but sometimes I would be there to do the kids' class, I was forced to practice those things over and over. 6 days a week, sometimes, 2 classes a day because the kids, and then me doing it as well. So I was doing it, teaching it to the kids, teaching it to the adults. And just think about that, let's just say 5 days a week.
Because you become proficient.
I became so good at it that I felt I lost my technical prowess over time. And then I became more like Hulk smash guy. I'm not saying that I'm still like that, but until like now, where we're really drilling this extra stuff,
you have a lot
I'm
of
feeling better about it.
You have a lot of tools that you could use, which most people would consider like the lazy way out. Because if somebody of your similar size, with a higher skill level than you, was rolling with you, and you tried what would work on somebody lesser than you, it would not work.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And I know that's what you're saying.
My tricks don't work on
exactly.
Tom.
Is you have tricks. So you have tools that
my tricks don't work on Tom.
Exactly, right?
So even, Ray, I mean, I can't use the same
But like
tricks.
when you were that young, did you feel like you knew you sucked?
No,
because you did.
I thought I didn't think I sucked then.
Exactly.
At white, I thought I was amazing.
Exactly.
At blue, I was just like, I'm the fucking man.
Yep.
At purple, I was in such a small class at white in the beginning of blue.
You were a big
and
fish
then
in a
I
small
went to
pond, yeah.
fight sports, and I was, I then surrounded by a bunch of blue belts and some higher belts, and Adolfo was coaching, and you rolled with him, and I really started to go, wow, my jiu-jitsu sucks.
Hey, caca.
But again, I think just thinking about it now, I think you also forget the things that and like you catch yourself doing something like, oh wow, I haven't done that in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as to that question, I have probably felt that way more now. Yeah. Probably more that I'm harder on myself than probably anybody is, and there is this added pressure again that I'm putting on myself. There's nobody being like, you're almost a black belt.
But
you got totally putting it on myself, but I want to be proud of my jiu-jitsu, and I want to make my coach proud.
You have your own goals. You have your own goals. You have your own
So
goals.
I'm definitely in a place where I'm definitely training more than I have. I told you I've got to be out. I'm going to have to be out for a couple weeks with a little procedure that I got to have done. And I'm dreading it. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, but think about because I'm out, right? So like I've been working on stretching and then like just lifting light weights at home.
I'm not gonna be able to do any of that.
And then you're good. Yeah. And then I'll answer the question because mine. I feel like mine's super short all the time. Like when I first my first roll ever was with Tom, and I've told that story a couple times.
Oh yeah,
yeah. My first live roll.
Did he smash? Did he?
Not only that's what I'm saying.
Fucking hard.
Yeah, but I'm a brand new day one white belt. Live roll, and he's the situation that you were talking about. It's like, what do you feel about a brown belt beating up on a brand new white? That literally what you described is what happened to me.
Yeah,
and it flipped a switch in my head where I was like, I could be like that, and I've let myself go, and I'm not proud of who I am right now. And this man is doing this to me. He's killing me softly, right? And he whispered in my ear while on side control. He was like, fight for your life. He said that shit in my ear. Day one, bro.
Yeah.
Day one. Okay.
Did he know you? Did you know strangers?
Everybody was a stranger.
Yeah.
Everybody.
You didn't have your kids in there a little
Just
bit
my
first?
daughter.
Okay.
For a couple of months. Right. Super new.
You hadn't run into him because the kids and he had a son? No. Okay.
No, I didn't know him at all.
Okay.
Destroyed.
That sounds like Tom.
Yeah, and in his defense, I was going as hard as humanly possible.
Yeah.
But anyways, to answer the question is, I feel like I've always perpetually sucked because of that moment.
Yeah.
But it's also
driven you.
It's a driving factor of there's more to learn. And let's say I do, by even a broken clock works twice a day type of scenario, I beat Tom up, right? Which I feel like my day's coming, 2035, 2040. You know what I'm saying? This is a game. This is a game of attrition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get him on the back end.
You're gonna get him when he's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, remember me? Dump him over on the mat.
Oh yeah. Fight for your life.
Wheelchair over.
I'm gonna put the locks on the wheels.
Oh, I'm gonna ask him if he remembers that. It totally sounds.
I remind him.
So he did.
But anyways, I always feel like I suck, but I suffer from this weird delusion where I think I'm better than I am. I have a real issue with my confidence.
Dunning-Kruger syndrome.
You're harder on yourself about your jiu-jitsu.
Not only that, I'm also a little
with you and
I'm a little dumb.
Dunning-Kruger syndrome.
You have really good jiu-jitsu. The fact the wrestling, I like the sport. Having a little bit of that wrestling mindset is definitely, I think, makes you better. We go back to that for the second time we roll.
I get smashed.
I knew right away. I was like, oh, you wrestled, right? I called it because I could just see the way that you moved in, the way that I could feel you attacking. And I knew, like, you just had day one. You started better than people that were there for a while already.
Well, I've grappled before
because you grappled before. But I think that you're a little bit harder on yourself. I know. I mean, the last time I rolled with you, you were.
I'm aware of that.
You were, yeah. I'm gonna next time we roll, I got to roll a little harder with you because you've gotten better. I went with my chill mode with you, and you were
not chilling.
You know,
but to be honest with you, I really wasn't going that hard. I wasn't even breathing hard afterwards.
Well, I think I went into it with a very lazy roll.
Exactly.
And you capitalized.
The exact same scenario that we talked about. Yeah. I didn't have to tell you what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And you didn't tell me what you wanted.
Yeah.
And there was no mutual agreement. And I thought I was going at an okay pace. And then when you were like, I dialed back and I settled into a position.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing?
Just settling.
But a lot of shoulder locks.
Dude, there's...
You like those shoulder locks?
It's just attack at any... Whatever you give me, I'm going to attack it.
It was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun.
It was a super fun roll. I think it was a very respectful roll.
I've always had fun rolling with you.
And your lockdown is still tremendous. and I was happy that my lockdown
my equalizer.
defense...
Is this the bromance part?
It is, because this is the...
I always like rolling with you. I like when you touch me.
He's a fun roll. He is a great friend. He's,
like when you put your fingers through my hair.
I love his sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yours too. He's a good dude.
Yours too, because
you tell him when he's not here, I'm like, I like it better when Miguel's here. When I do the podcast by myself, I'm like,
But also, like, you're super fun too, because like when you roll and you get like a cheeky move, or like it's good, and I didn't know that was a bag of tricks, because it's very so often that we roll. You like smile and you're like, gotcha bitch. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm a talker during my roll.
Yeah, I put little hearts on the screen.
I laugh. If you get me, I'd be like, I'd be like,
I would never maliciously, and I think since day one, because even the day that I wanted to spaz out on you, I told you.
Yeah.
And I was a 1 week white belt.
Yeah.
You know, and I already had the mental capacity to go like, I'm gonna act retarded real quick. You let me know how.
So we have one last question from Justin. Completely not jiu-jitsu related at all.
Oh, good.
Oh.
So he said also a question for Miguel.
Okay.
What's your take on the fall of Silicon Valley Bank? Their role as the primary tech startup bank. Because he knows you've had crypto talks with him?
I don't think so.
No, but I guess he knows. He listens to the podcast.
Well,
so
I mean,
knows.
I also post
their role as the primary tech startup bank, which plays into the crypto market, and what the fallout in the medium term will be with the economy. What does that say?
I don't know.
Fiat currency and crypto overall.
Our money
I couldn't tell if it was an L. I really am like partially blind. Yeah. I couldn't tell if it was an L.
The flow knocked
fiat currency. I'm not.
Your money is fiat currency.
Okay.
Which is going to go flat. Which is going to go flat.
We went. You can't say that.
All right. So go ahead.
First of all, it's not financial advice. Second of all,
we're not doctors.
Yeah, we're not
and
doctors.
We're not financial advisors.
We're not fiduciaries, and we have no responsibility whatsoever.
We could be politicians, though.
Just read the sign.
Yeah. Emphasis on the. This should have been this font.
The dummy should have been
See, because we don't.
It should have said, and this should have still been on top though. Like jiu-jitsu and dummies. No, like it's still in order. But honestly, what I think is there's no regulation right now in the United States. Other countries have clear regulation on certain cryptocurrencies and banks having exposure to risky assets, which are unregulated cryptocurrencies, because they're businesses. Most people think it's like a crypto's a crypto. There are cryptos that are like, it's literally like us three sit in a room, we pay somebody to create JJD coin, and then we either run a pump and dump, or we try and
there's no utility
but we could create
there's no value.
But there could be. We could create it, and it could just, it's a shit coin. It is. Yeah. It's a super low cap, like not a lot. Maybe we get some VC funding. But anyways, there is regulation in the United States for so Silicon Valley Bank, when they went under, right, which was also, they had no reason to go under. It was a scheduled liquidation because they had to make up for their balance sheet, right? Because they have people to answer to and creditors to answer to. Were they in trouble because of risky assets and playing with other people's money? Yeah, but all banks are doing that, right? But that was a bank run. They went under because people freaked out because the CEO liquidated something like a couple $2 billion to offload the balance sheet because of risky bonds, if I remember correctly. And then everybody freaked out, and then the Fed came and saved them, right? Essentially a bailout. But what I think is like exposure to risky assets like cryptocurrencies, an unregulated market, is a gamble, and that's essentially what the stock market and all this, it's all speculation still, but what I was getting to is cryptocurrencies, they're tied to companies, the ones that actually have like utility, right? Like, so you'll have a software company that solves a real problem in, like, let's say the central banking industry where there's a huge liquidity issue and they can't, it's like they need to be able to be so liquid that they could do huge transfers across the world fast, so that way they always have money to like give, lend, play with, operate as a central bank or as a global bank.
Okay.
Right? So those have utility, but they're not regulated. So in the United States, they could be regulated in Singapore, in Sweden, and other countries, Japan,
currency.
the same one.
Okay.
This is happening right now. There are cryptocurrencies that have companies that are attached to them that have a real life solution that are already being used in other countries because they have, like UK, Japan, Sweden, Germany. They have like regulation rules. They have taxes and everything for cryptocurrency and cryptocurrency companies. In the United States, we have crypto-friendly states like Montana, Nevada. There's favorable state-level crypto incentives if you want to open up a crypto bank, right?
Okay.
But you still have the obligation to file with the Securities and Exchange Commission, and you're still dealing with the CFTC. There's like a lot of stuff going on. It's kind of quasi-regulated, but there's nothing set in stone at a federal level right now because they're basing it. They don't know if it's a security. They don't know if it's a commodity. They don't know if it's a currency, right? And everybody has their own opinion. So right now, I think it collapsed because that was a bank run because they freaked out. But I also do think I've been very tinfoil hatty all day today, so I'm just going to go ahead and stick with it. There is an initiative to stifle innovation in crypto before regulation. This is my personal opinion. So that way they could suppress everything in the whole market, just like how they did in the .com bubble, right?
Okay.
They did this, right? Amazon was sued by the SEC.
Okay.
SpaceX was sued by the SEC. Tesla was sued by the not SpaceX, but Tesla was sued by the SEC. Elon Musk is very famous notoriously for saying screw the SEC.
Yeah.
Publicly.
Okay.
Right? The reason they do that is because you've created a new market and you've created a new something that doesn't fall into the box of like a security you do the Howey test, right? That is an orange grove farm in Florida a long time ago. That's how you determine if something is a security or not by if it meets these 4 or 5 metrics or whatever it is. We're not there yet, but there's real innovation happening, and these solve real problems, and they help people who make money. So there's no logical reason why you wouldn't want this company to succeed. JP Morgan Chase has exposure to cryptocurrencies. Deutsche Bank has exposure to cryptocurrencies. Freaking BOA has exposure to, all these major banks have exposure to cryptocurrency or so why did they collapse?
So what will the fallout be in the medium term?
They're going to keep stifling innovation until there's regulation, and that way
the government
whatever entity it be, that's my opinion, until they know there's going to be, we already know there's already insider trading happening, right? Okay. Nancy Pelosi, best trade, or her husband's better than Warren Buffett, right? By coincidence.
I've heard.
And so I think it's very smart if you're a regulator or if you're an overseeing body to make sure that there's regulation so you figure out how the country can make money off of it, because that's what it is. Like I have exposure to cryptocurrency, and since 2017, you file taxes. I file my taxes. I own a program that takes account of everything that I own, every single trade that I've made, and it prints out. It's like a 1090 like something form that's specifically for cryptocurrency. And I turn that in to my tax agent, and I go, I'm abiding by the rules here. Even though there are no rules, they tell you to file. Just like the IRS tells, there's an actual like document that tells, like if you're a thief and you've stolen, you could report as a like
income. Yeah.
From stolen goods. And so I think what's happening is what has always happened. You know, like during the innovation of the iPhone in 2008, during the middle of the housing crisis, innovation was still happening. And things were being stifled until there's regulation. So that way, the powers that be can make money.
And once again, this is not financial advice.
Not financial advice. This is just what I think is going on.
We're only giving jiu-jitsu advice is the only thing.
So
that
medium term, until there's regulation, you're gonna keep continuing to see pump and dumps. You're gonna continue to see scammers. You're gonna continue to see unregulated, like how they were doing with those mortgage-backed security, like all that stuff. You're going to see all that penny stock pushing stuff. You're going to see all that stuff, Nigerian prince scams. You're going to see all of it because crypto right now is not in a state where it's functional or easy to use, like to a layman person. Like you don't know how to do half the stuff.
Where did all of the what is it when the images? All the images.
The NFTs?
The NFTs. What,
right.
Like that was like
it was
hot
supposed
for like a year.
Yeah, and it had good.
It's still going.
Is it going or is it gone?
Yeah, no, but it's
I
not being used
for MMA and there was like
it's
all
not
this
being
stuff.
used correctly.
Yeah.
All right. So like the intent of that was to help artists because there's digital artists. Bo's a digital artist.
Well, I'm a traditional artist and a digital artist.
Okay, but you're primarily a digital artist at this moment, right? Like primarily?
I'm both.
Okay, you're both. Whatever. So there's digital artists out there that are only digital artists, and they're really, really good, and they're really, really talented, right? How do they sell their work? You know what I mean? They could do what obviously you know. Hey, make me these graphics, blah, 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 blah. But like, think about in the NFT world now, they could create a piece of art that somebody buys, but it has in the blockchain a smart contract in it that says when you sell it, I will always make my royalty off of that. And then when they sell it, I will always make my royalty off of that. But when you own it, you own it. So like, let's say you own a very famous painting by a very famous NFT artist and he's blown up or she's blown up or whatever. And let's say Disney uses it in a film. You own that. Yeah, you could take a screenshot of it. I could have it in my phone, like that argument, whatever. I own it too, but I don't own the rights to it. So that means if somebody uses it and you want to go ahead and litigate, and you're well within your rights because you own it. Right, so like that was the intention. But NFTs to me are like a company like Proppy. What they do is they'll go buy a house under an LLC. They'll do all the work there.
Tokenization.
They'll tokenize it and they'll create it into an NFT. So now you could buy this house using whatever cryptocurrency you want or fiat currency if you want to. But then all they do is they transfer the title to you, and now you own LLC house on whatever. Right, like that's a good one. Or how about this?
They also
you get pulled over.
Tokenization.
You get pulled over, right? Hey, we need your license, your registration, blah, blah, blah. That could be on the blockchain. That could be an NFT. Your Florida driver's license could be an NFT that tells you your driving record, this and that. Could just be a QR code, man. Like here you go, scan it. It tells you everything. Like that could be a good use for an NFT. Birth certificates, keeping track of property, medical information, keeping track of property records. You know?
Well, that's the difference between NFT and this new element of tokenization. So now with tokenization, you can have group buying of a house. For instance, you can have people invest $1,000, this and that.
No, they do that. They already do that.
Literally 1,000 people who would put in $100.
They do that with memorabilia. They do that like the Pokemon #1 card.
So this
Jake
is why
Paul
I was
owns.
saying the traditional and digital artist at the same time, because what you do is, let's say you have a sculpture, you created a traditional sculpture, and now you take a picture of it, you create the digital NFT. That's what sells, and when you sell it, it unlocks the actual.
That would be a derivative.
Hard collectible.
Yeah, that would be a derivative of the thing.
Jiu-Jitsu's favorite monthly subscription box has now joined the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast. The BJJ box is delivered to your door filled with premium jiu-jitsu and grappling apparel, equipment, supplements, supplies, snacks, and more. The crew at the BJJ box find the best in the world of jiu-jitsu and guarantee every box to be worth more than the cost. Each box includes 4 to 7 items you're going to love. Visit thebjjbox.com and use code JJD10 to get $10 off your very first box. And give them a follow on Instagram at thebjjbox. Neutral Zone is combat family owned, so they know you need to keep yourself and your equipment clean. They created Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays for just that purpose. Neutral Zone products are formulated to reduce the risk of bacterial and fungal infections. Whatever's making you sweat, weight training, rolling on the mats, yard work, or just working around the house, Neutral Zone Clean wipes and sprays can make you feel and smell refreshed. Use code JJD to get 15% off your online order at neutralzoneclean.com. While you're there, sign up for their newsletter to receive the latest info and updates on product launches like their new shower gel and soap bar coming soon. Are you Neutral Zone Clean? Special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu-Jitsu Dummy signature tee exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Thank you for the questions, Justin.
All right.
Thank you for the question, Brian.
Thank
and
you.
Justin.
Thank you
This. I
all
hope
for
you had a good
watching.
time.
Yeah, it was fun.
I want to. This makes me want to get back to the roundtables. If we get up to where we get the studio back up north a little bit, we'll have access to some more people that we know. It's hard to tell people to come down for that.
And if we have enough
drive.
space,
Fuck it, man.
We'll
You
have
wanna
enough
be on the
space to
show?
get
Come
back to
down
doing
here.
the roundtables, which I like doing this and discussing, arguing out points, having that different. I like that. That's the way we started. Not that we won't have that. Not that we still won't have guests, but I definitely want to throw in the roundtables again in the mix.
I also
into the
like
rotation.
this.
Yeah,
Like this
that's
is
what I'm saying.
fun.
No, I like.
Yeah,
Just makes me want to get even more people in and be.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning, we did more of the round table. This whole thing was conceived as a, round table.
Yes.
The guests kind of came later.
Eating at what's the name of the? I love Sicilian Oven.
Sicilian Oven, man.
Man, that place
That's
is
where this
so
was
good.
conceived.
If you're in South Florida, I think they have a place like in Lighthouse Point, and then the other ones in Coral Springs.
There's one in Fort Lauderdale, I think.
I think
and then one in
whatever.
Coral Springs.
Sicilian Oven.
There's
kills.
I think like 5 of them, isn't there?
I can't. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah,
Service is
awesome. Amazing food.
Everything.
It's my favorite
good. Ambiance.
place to. I like the
You
rice
could-
balls, wings.
You get a good steak there.
You like rice
mussels.
balls,
Yeah,
eh?
do
The
that
mussels are good. Yeah, you get white or red.
All right, so we're going to leave it there. Thank you, everybody. You can check us out at Jiu-Jitsu Dummies on Instagram for all the ways to watch, listen, and support.
That's right.
I'm Uncle Milty BJJ on Instagram.
JJD_DJJ69 on Instagram.
Shadow Band.
Yeah, I am actually. I checked it out
Did
with
you
a couple
notice it?
people.
Yeah.
No, I had other people check it out
Try to tag you and stuff.
that I knew didn't follow me.
Yeah.
Like my sisters
And you don't come up
stuff.
right away.
Yeah,
I wonder why.
it's probably all that crypto and
Maybe.
government stuff that I post and eating meat. What's up? Bad works.
At BADWERKS, bad work.
Bad works.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching and listening. Peace,
you
love,
very much.
Jiu-Jitsu.
Peace, love.